going live, baby.
Heck
yeah, we're live. So let me hit the insider intro for everyone, even though this is on BME situation. But we'll just keep it the most we can. All right. All right. Since told you when we're going for this.
You are one of us. Your passion is the world of mountain biking, from enduro to gravel races and everything in between. This is Insider MTB, the podcast that takes you behind the handlebars, into the dirt, and behind the scenes of the mountain biking world. And now your host, Austin White.
All right. Thank you all
Austin White?
Yeah, Austin White. Yeah, hey. This is a little bit of a hybrid podcast, you guys. This one's going to be the Big Mountain Enduro Championship podcast and live stream because we had a little bit of a issue with having the race go off. And we had always planned, though, to do a little bit of a championship edition post podcast. But now that we had all these videos made and all this cool content made that was supposed to be played, they didn't get to get played. So we're going to
I haven't even seen him yet. I want to see him. Come on, roll him. Let's go.
I'm joined today with Robert from the BME. What we call you? CEO, boss man, head honcho.
Just a grunt worker. That's all we do.
Just the guy who drives the truck. Just drives the truck. Truck driver. But yeah, I mean, we had a planned pre-show out. We had a planned race. And stuff like that. But yeah, maybe what do we want to dive into first? Let's dive a little bit into the race. I mean, you showed up on Sunday. Yeah, Tamarack.
Yeah, man, talk about I don't even know how to put it into words. Talk about a disappointment. Like a good amount of our crew rolled up there with me. And I think we've been talking about it in the days since that it feels like there was no closure to the season. Like I think overall we had one of the best years that BME has seen, as far as response and accuracy and timing and results and efficiency and like all the stuff that we look for, the nuts and bolts on our end. And we were looking to really go out with a bang. And I took 36 bottles of champagne with me and I turned around and brought them all back home. So yeah, it was a disappointment for sure. It was, we left Sunday, got up there Sunday night and been alerted to the smoke. So we'd been kind of watching it. And it honestly, up to that point, wasn't that bad. It wasn't until Tuesday that it finally turned on us. And definitely got into unsafe conditions for days. I mean, it still is right now. I literally just checked it as we were logging on. So it's,
we were having the pre-conversations about the fires going on up there, but you still have to go and try.
Absolutely.
For everyone that thought that we never went, like I drove all the way there and sat in a trucker's parking lot for 2 days.
Yeah. You drove from Southern California. I mean, and your drive was what, 15, 16 hours and I was 12 hours.
Like, yeah.
We drove on site. Like we literally parked the rig. We parked the trailer. We put the awning out. Like we did the full thing. I mean, we were going. We wanted to go.
And I was even tough on you. I was like, all right, man, I'm coming up this hill. If I'm fucking driving all the way here, excuse my language. I'm a little aggressive on the stuff I said. But yeah, I mean, like I'm like, all right, we're going up this mountain. Then that one day when you showed me the photos and you couldn't see the top of the mountain, the sun was blocked by smoke. And all I had was the thoughts. I was like, well, it kind of reminded me of Crankworks like a few years ago. I think it might've been like 4 or 5 years ago. And I just remember we slept with the windows open that night and wow. I swear, like I thought I had strep throat for like a week. It literally burned my shit.
Well, and like I keep telling everybody, and we had lots of meetings with Tamarack and bless their hearts, man, that they're awesome to work with up there at Tamarack. Like that's a partnership that we look forward to having and continuing for years to come. They were very open to talk about it, and not all resorts will be that way. So it was cool. But what people don't realize is it wasn't just the smoke. Like, I mean, yeah, there's the air quality with that, which was horrific kind of Tuesday midday on. But it was the proximity of the fires. At one point, I think it was somewhere between, Kevin would probably correct me, but 12 to 14 fires within a 20-mile radius of us. Like that's unprecedented. There was one fire that was 4 miles and closing. It was coming towards the resort. It looks like they've stomped it out now. So huge thanks to those guys and hats off for working their tails off. But yeah, Monday, a thunderstorm came through. It lit off 6 fires within 10 miles of us, just the other side of the lake.
And it was a lightning storm more than anything.
It was lightning. It was all, as far as I know, every single one of the fires up there was natural. So it was lightning. I don't know anything any different. And actually, ironically enough, we brought a crew member with us this time that he serves. He works with the Forest Service, but he goes out and works a lot of these fires. And so he's like the fire camp boss at a lot of these fires. And the crew that he normally serves with was on the Wolf Creek fire, which was the one that was 3 miles from the resort. So to have somebody like that on our team giving us insight to fire reactions and how they go, and
yeah,
it's invaluable. I mean, and then we had that one fire light up. It was over the hill, light up, and in what was it, 40 hours, and went literally from 0 to over 120,000 acres. Like, yeah. Let's put that into perspective. Like, this isn't just some little grass fire. Like, I mean, yes, it was the grasses, it wasn't the pines and stuff, but that thing was throwing ash all over us. You were getting it down in Boise. Like,
I mean, I was wondering if you guys were even going to get out of there.
Well, that became our nervousness too, and safety of everybody, right? So again, there's the smoke, but then there's also the safety of bringing hundreds of riders to a resort. And if the roads get closed in or out, or everybody, including the locals in the town, try to leave town, like, how are we going to get out? Like, this is something that weighs heavily on our decisions. And honestly, I think, I mean, that's part of my aviation background, right? Like, safety is first. Like, there is nothing that outweighs safety, and that weighs heavily on me. And we're all there to have a good time, and that's absolutely what we're there for. But man, I'm not here to risk that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I wasn't willing to drive up there after I started seeing those more fires going on. I was like, fuck.
It just kept going. I mean,
it did. Yeah.
It wasn't getting under control, and stuff was, and then it became, and so luckily having Jess on our team, the fire camp, Forest Service guy, he's like, dude, we do not have the resources up here right now for all these extra fires that just popped up. Like, they're going to have to start picking and choosing until they can get more resources in to take care of it.
Could you imagine if you guys did start the race, they were up on the top and the fires just got worse to, like, where do they go? I mean, that's a crazy scenario, but yeah.
It's literally giving me chills right now, man. Like, that's not something
we only wanted to be in the news for racing mountain bikes, not for racing a fire. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it's one way in, one way out, and that's, mountain towns are notorious for that. And it's where we like to be as mountain bikers, and we love the scenery and stuff like that. But come on, when the whole place is on fire and AQIs are through the roof, I mean, it was varying from 150 to 350, and 350 it's coming inside your room through the air conditioning. Like, doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, it was crazy. If it was just smoke, it would have been a whole nother scenario, and we probably would have pushed forward with it, because then you can kind of play the game of like, well, if it's better in the morning, noon, or afternoon, we can kind of play with those windows if everybody's flexible, kind of thing. But when it's actual fires, and the helicopters were literally circling over the resort to drop water, they weren't dropping water on the resort, I want to be clear on that, but they were circling over to get in their line. I mean, how close are they? Like,
well, then the water's like right there. Were they picking it up out of that lake right there too, or no?
Yeah, so they had the super scoopers down from Canada that were the flying boats. They skim the water and pick it up, but then they also had a bunch of bucket line, like Chinooks and different helicopters, Blackhawks out there that were doing different things. And so it depended on where it was at. And it was cool because I actually really got to learn a ton. I'm always fascinated by that stuff, and everybody laughs. But like, I mean, as a pilot, like, that's the kind of flying I want to do. Like, let's be real, like that's cool stuff right there. But I have so much respect for those guys. I mean, what goes into it is just astronomical, the amount of resources that go into stomping out these fires that are in trees and marching towards multi-million-dollar homes. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, we got Jackson here. I'm going to let him in, and then maybe we'll circle back around a little bit before we have our other guests come on. But
sounds good.
Let me add him in. Oh, look at this guy.
He's ready.
Hello.
What's going on, Jackson?
Not too much. Just out and about.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, this is probably not the way you'd want to hear it, but uh-oh, now he's all flipped over, eh? Yeah, so we'll do this podcast upside down. No worries. Look, Jackson, it's probably not the best way to hear this, but yeah, you are the 2024 BME semi-pro national champ right now. Probably not the best way to rather be racing for it, right? But yeah, congratulations on that, man.
Appreciate it.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Dude, talk about the season. Like, I'm going to be honest, I was always watching you. You ripped it out. Obviously, you got that win at Windrock, but from there, I mean, you stayed this interestingly consistent rider that kept putting the right amount of points on the board, right? And some people thought, oh, you just got to win to get the championship, but you definitely took that one good win, and then you knew, like, all right, I'm just going to keep it steady, and that's what obviously led you to the championship. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it was good to win in Windrock. I felt like I kind of had the speed as well to win in Mount Nebo, just unfortunately flatted on the last stage there. And then Arizona, I ended up third, which had a good race there. I felt pretty good. And then just the last two, just some unfortunate crashes in mechanicals, like flat tires pretty much, or derailers or stuff like that. That's
kind of part of it, though, like Enduro, right?
The last two. Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
So what was different at Windrock? Like, what did you like about Windrock there? Like, did the terrain fit you better? Was it the rain? Was it the dry? What was it at Windrock that kind of separated that out for you?
I've never raced Enduro there before. Always downhill in the past. But I just felt pretty comfortable the whole weekend. And yeah, I mean, once I got into a good flow, I just kind of kept that going.
Nice.
Was that obviously your favorite round just because you won, or was there another one that was more you liked?
That was probably my favorite.
I mean, if you win, it's got to be Sunrise, your favorite.
Probably.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, when you obviously took the points lead, I mean, you pretty much led it for most of the time, right? What was your thoughts like going through some of that moments? Like, I'm in the lead. Was it, I need to win at, the next round, or was it this, hey, I just gonna ride my race?
I just ride my race pretty much. I mean, fortunately, the people that I was competing against at the start too, Dean had some unfortunate luck, it seemed like, in New Mexico, and Aaron maybe had some trouble at some of the other ones, just certain things with those, that terrain maybe. But no, I didn't think I had to win all of them, but I definitely felt like, those couple setbacks I had at the last two, I just had to keep pushing, I guess, and, not just give up, even like take a fifth place, instead of just dropping back to 10th or whatever.
Yeah. So I was giving you, remember, I think it was Brian I was giving you shit. I felt that you have to be the tallest rider in the class, and that maybe you missed your calling. You should have been a basketball player or volleyball or something. And
maybe
talk about that, like being the tallest guy out there. Does it help you, like, through some of the stuff and being able to get through rocks, or is it, you think it holds you back on things?
I'd say there's pros and cons, probably. It's definitely a disadvantage, I would say, in the tighter stuff. But I feel like it doesn't really affect me too much. I think it used to affect me a little bit more before I found a bike that fit me a little bit better and kind of played to my strengths, I guess. But yeah,
what bike you on, Jackson?
Pretty comfortable.
Give him a shout out.
I'm on KHF. Yeah.
Nice. How you liking that bike?
It's good. Yeah, it's my favorite enduro race bike so far.
Nice. What's the setup on that? What's the travel? Let's talk about that. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm just regular, like 29 front back, and then 170 mil travel front and back as well. So
Sweet.
a little bit on the longer side, but feels pretty
On the
balanced.
XL frame.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No headset adjust or anything like that. Just the stock sizing.
I mean, you
Cool.
guys got the semi-pro championship, you guys got the e-bike championship, and you guys got second in the women's pro. It's a pretty good test to that team, right? Like, talk about that. Like, you guys have some pretty heavy hitters going on there, including yourself.
For sure. Yeah, it's been great to meet everyone on the team and just ride with them the whole season and kind of see their experience in terms of enduro racing. And yeah, it's a little different. I haven't been first time on a team, haven't been riding with people that much older than me, I guess, mostly just kind of friends at the races. But yeah, it's been good to get to know those people on the KHS team.
Did they help you? Like, I mean, obviously Isabel is a kind of a veteran of her class and has been there in the good title fights. Did you look for any advice from her or any stuff like that, working with them?
Maybe a little bit. But I mean, I'm not like a crazy amount, I guess. I don't know if I have the right answer for that, but
no worries.
It was cool.
We won't tell Bella,
Yeah. Well, and I talked with Logan quite a bit. I don't know, a couple days ago or something before we went up actually to Tamarack. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool year, and I was congratulating him at that time for the team that you guys had put together and the results you guys had been doing. So it's super cool. Like, you guys had one of the bigger pit setups every time, and we're kind of throwing down in every class you guys were touching. So it was super cool. I'm glad to see that for the brand KHS. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is this your first year on the team, or was it how many years?
Yep. Yeah, first year on the team.
Nice. And like, is the plan? Are you with them next year? Then? Are you with them next year?
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Oh, we're sorry. We're starting stuff too soon over here.
Come on, Logan. Let's get that 2-year deal going.
Figure out.
We're gonna pressure him right now. I'll text him right now. Let's get you signed up.
Well, then what's planned for next year then?
Plan for next year would be to move up to pro and start competing and trying to better my results in that class pretty much.
Is there anything you felt like you need to work on? Like, you're right there with the pro pits and you're seeing all that stuff. You see those guys. What do you think for you for next year in that?
I would just say, I mean, I feel like my fitness is good enough for the class that I was racing to be competitive, but to be kind of that extra couple percent, definitely just my kind of like 4-day fitness, pretty much just being, I felt like I was kind of fading a little bit towards the second day, maybe kind of the last 2-3 stages. So that's probably, I think, my biggest thing to work on would just be my like all weekend and BME fitness pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, but it's cool because like, I don't think BME has seen this stacked of a field in quite a while, if maybe I dare I say ever, but it's cool because I mean, I know I made comment about it at Windrock, but the advanced boys were running semi-pro times. They were running like top 5 semi-pro times. And then you guys, the top semi-pros, were definitely running like top 15 for sure in pro times. But sometimes you guys are creeping into the top 10. Like, there's a total changing of the guard coming here. Like, and I've been kind of talking to everybody about it, that there's a bunch of fresh blood that's eager and excited coming into this and joining the ranks. Like, I'm excited to see it. I'm beyond ecstatic to hear that you're moving up to pro. We support it fully, but like, to see this fresh rain coming through in enduro is super positive for the sport. Like, I'm excited. So that's awesome, man.
For sure. Yeah. I think that this year was the first year I was kind of looking at the times of people that were younger than me and kind of realizing, oh yeah, like people that are 15, 16 are getting really fast as well. Like, I haven't feel like I've kind of done that too much before, but now I've kind of realized that it's getting competitive all across the board.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. Like, it's cool to see people moving through the ranks, and I think the realignment of classes this year, I think, is creating that competition level, you know what I mean, between it. I think it's a little bit more uniform now, and it's providing a direct pathway for you guys. And yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Like, I think you could easily pulling some top 10s next year. It's going to be exciting to watch you, Jackson.
Yeah, that'd be my goal.
Did you do youth enduro? Like, what was your path to get to enduro? Are you a Nike kid? What was
I started with, so I live kind of across the water from Seattle, so about an hour and 10 minutes from Port Angeles. So I started in 2018 doing the Northwest downhill racing, Northwest Cup downhill racing. So I did that up until 2021, and I was still doing a little bit of downhill up in 2022, but I think I tried my first big mountain enduro, which was Big Sky 2021, I believe. And I'd done one. I did the Ashland Mountain Challenge before that in October 2020.
Nice. That's awesome.
okay?
Was the Ashland
Nice.
one? Let's talk about that Ashland one real quick. Was that still the like 12-mile Super D, or did they change it?
Yeah.
It is?
Trying to think. It still had like a 15-minute stage in it. It was long.
Dude, oh, okay. Yeah, so quick little backstory. I went up there with Eric Carter way back in the day. It was like the second Ashland Mountain one. And it was literally a 12-mile downhill. Like, it was, I forget what winning times were. I actually ended up getting, I believe, third there. I smoked EC on that one. I'll just throw that out there. It was the pedal. The pedal is what saved me. But yeah, it was literally, I can't remember times, honestly. It was in a Decline magazine. That's how old I am. But yeah, it was 30 some minutes. Like, it was insanity out there. So it's cool to hear that they're still doing that. Like, I love the long stages and stuff. And we had a big one in store for you. So let's talk about that, like courses and stuff. Like, what do you kind of enjoy or look for in racing? Like you said, you race downhill and now you're doing more enduro. Like, are you looking for longer stages, shorter stages, more techie, more pedally? Like, what kind of suits you?
Yeah, I feel like I enjoy the downhill tracks, I guess you'd call it, like a lot of the Big Sky stuff, the Windrock stuff. But I don't mind the pedaling either. Like, the last 2 years, I've done a lot of training up in Canada with the Blueprint Athlete Development people, and that's like, when we go up and train, we're not just riding downhill tracks all the time. Like, occasionally we'll go shuttle, but a lot of it is working on, like, just tight, janky, kind of XC style trails. So
yeah,
don't mind that too much as well.
Nice. We got the same
Nice.
taste in trails, it sounds like. I like it.
Hey, so
Good-
were
good
you
mix
already
of
in? Were you already up in Boise, or where were you at when we had to put out the announcement?
I was about to drive to Seattle to a friend's house to leave. I was gonna go Wednesday, so I was at home, which was good. But I had some friends out on the road that were maybe 7 hours across that drove back and rode Silver Mountain for a day.
We know it. We get the pain. So, I mean, obviously with that last one, I mean, you won the championship without it, but what was your feelings going into that last one if that wouldn't have happened?
I was excited to race there. I mean, I heard that there might be a new trailer too, and I've raced downhill there in the past. I haven't been
Okay.
there for about 2 years now, but I was excited to go race there. I thought that was going to be a good round, good way to finish it up.
Yeah, because I mean, the points were kind of, I mean, you guys were pretty close right there towards the end. So it was almost a little bit of a decider moment, right?
Definitely. Yep, for sure. Yeah, we all
Nice.
had I think we're all pretty close.
Yeah, top three was like 16 points between
Yeah,
you
what is
guys.
this
Like, that's
here?
pretty cool. Yeah, it was, you were at 91 and Dean 83, and then I believe Trent was 75. So
Yeah.
it's super close. I like the new point structure for sure. But yeah, you kind of alluded to it there. But yeah, there is some new stuff up at Tamarack, and I think that was kind of everybody's like sentiment that we were most disappointed in. Like, we wanted to show everybody those trails, and those guys have been working nonstop since, well, the snow melted to get those things in. So anyways, we got fun stuff in store for next year, so we're excited.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nice. Well,
I'm excited for next year as well.
yeah. Jackson, I just want to say congrats again on the championship. Thanks. I know we had planned to get you on this, so I'm glad that you could make it. If you can, make for sure you keep your iPhone app open when you close it when we are done here. So at least it uploads everything. Sweet, man. Well, I guess we'll see you maybe on a new team, maybe KHS next year in the pro class. Do you want us to tell Nick, to look out here in about 5 minutes when we talk to him?
Yeah, let him know.
I love it. I love it.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks for giving us your time, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
buddy.
Jackson. You're awesome,
Have a good
man.
one.
You too.
All right.
Well, not the way you want to tell someone they won a championship, but sometimes that's just how it is. But yeah, I mean, damn.
In outdoor sports, it is. Yeah, and it's been interesting because, like, I don't know, man. It's just this like unfinished business, I guess, is probably the best way to say it. Like, I mean, the trailer still has everything in it right now. Like, we have the shirts, the bottles, the bags, the champagne, the fake checks. We have the awards. Like,
those are real checks. Don't anyone get confused. Those are real checks.
Yeah, the real.
Go to your local bank, see if they just will take them.
Just go walking in with the big ones like we have right there.
We have about 10 minutes until our next guest hits us in here, but I do want to have one of the videos play, which is the Nebo recap. Yeah, so we're just going to hit that real quick for everyone to watch for a second. Video brought to you by JJ Lee.
Yeah, the boy did.
Right. Dude, they did a lot with Nebo this year, I felt like. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been talking to as recent as yesterday, Mitchell, about stuff there. They did a lot of, I'll call it fairly minor edits.
But like the right type of edits. Yeah.
Yes.
It made it like flow a lot better and work better. And you could see it in the video, right?
Yeah.
Like that section was gnarly last year. Like everyone crashed in this section right here. Yeah, Nick did right there. And then like this section, you guys couldn't even open that one last year right here, right?
No. Yeah, it was beyond.
Yeah.
In such a bad way. We had it open this year even through the rain. It was crazy. The amount of water that came down there.
I'm surprised you guys even got off the top of that thing, Like
it was yeah, it was what was it? Friday night? Saturday night? It was,
yeah, look at me.
Came in rolling all over the top of us. Like it was gnarly.
Yeah.
Just sitting up there as a lightning rod at the top of the hill in my rig.
Number 9
I
in the
meant
house.
this is what stage was that? That was 4. Stage 4.
Yeah, coming off the top right there was stage 4. It was absolutely insane. I walked down it just before the pros got down there. It was just a river down the
Dude, yeah. Dude, you on this road, that's so gnarly.
There was a couple people that had some really like sniper lines to this. Insane.
I mean, just that British Columbia flood,
Oh yeah, they're used to that. But
a little bit of rain, what's this? They were like, this is nothing. Yeah. Good old Nebo.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's good. I mean, they've got amazing tracks there. Logistically, I think it's one of the harder events that we do over here. Things and for the racers, like there's not a ton of lodging right there, and the food choices are relatively restricted. Like it's kind of a bummer because it's a sick little mountain there in the middle of Arkansas. Yeah,
Colty's one win right there. Your 2023 champion. Had a rough one this year, New team, things just didn't work out, but it almost thought that it was going to be a good one for him. You win the first one.
Well, there were some guys that were on great form, honestly, all year. Cody Kelly for another one that just had mechanical after mechanical, and it just is the way it is. And That's the thing with enduro, that it's just, you don't get to come back through the pits and fix everything, you know, like you're time restricted to the next one. And with our changes of putting the pros first this year and that kind of stuff, I think we made some edits,
which was awesome, by the way. Like,
worked out pretty good.
I was stoked on that type of situation. Like, it helps so much with us for getting photos, videos, keeping people on track. And then just the fans or anyone that was in the pits afterwards was able to kind of see them, you know, and hang out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it was cool. Like, it was interesting. Like, and I've always wondered that from like day one with like me being a part of BME, like, why are the pros going last? Like, it's hard for us to stay on time when they go last, having the amateurs go first. And then they're always chasing, right? So you have the fastest groups chasing the slower groups. And it just never quite made sense to me why that was done that way. I get it to certain extents. Like, you know, the crowd can get done, the amateurs get done, and they hike up and go cheer them on. But I don't know if it quite played out the way that they thought it did. You know, I think this solution was a lot better and we had a lot more accuracy. And then, to be honest, like the amateur categories, like they were holding their times spot on, which they weren't doing when it was the other way around. I mean, we had stage cutoff times throughout the whole weekend and everybody was making them. Like, it was insanity, like how accurate and how quickly. I think starting at Arizona, like the furthest off we were from our projected times was like 15 minutes.
I mean,
that's unheard of in enduro.
Since you've bought the series and, you know, revamped it, every year has been almost like rebuilding and building this to this. And that's the thing I think people don't understand too, is like, we're always evolving and changing with the way, because it's a whole new enduro breed kind of out there, right? Like that kind of racing mentality and everything like that. Like, it's been, and let's be real, like everyone used to go to EWS because that was the premier series. And when you realize that you can stay in America, you can be with your family, it's more miles than going to EWS, but yet in this country you live in, more money. We're revamped. You know, you've been constantly evolving this series to make it better for every single person, from the amateur, you know, with us having the BME lights, all the way up to the pro that wants to be this champion, you know, and getting the media coverage and just the numbers and stuff like that. So it's been an ever evolving thing. I personally love the pros going first. That's where I was going with that. And it's the same way as like, if I remember when I hit you up to be a part of the series like 2 years ago, and I wanted to do Durango, and I was dreading though that backcountry. But now seeing that I could do like a BME light, I'm fucking in. I'm in for that. Like a little light, I'm light. Yeah, I'm good.
But that's what it is, right? So I mean, we spend a lot of time and we talk about the pros and that kind of a thing, but the 80% of the riders are amateurs. I mean, and they're the weekend warriors that are coming out. They're me, right? Like, I don't have time to go out and train like I want to, or I used to be able to. Like, to me, to get a ride in is a lucky day. Like, I'm pumped on that. And that's the majority of people that are coming to the races, whether they're supporting friends or family or whatever, but to give them a 1-day option that they can come out now and ride. Like, the response to BME Light this year was absolute. It blew my mind. Like, we put it out there. It was a thought. And I'm like, I just want to get some data on this so that going into the off season, we know if it works or doesn't work, or if it's received well. And I would say that it was received overwhelmingly well.
And like the fact that like a lot, I mean, other things of that is that you're racing on the same professional courses as like the dudes that are racing pro, which that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But like proper taping and the accurate timing and stuff like that. Like we've seen some other series and other races, and I would say a lot in America is like this fun vibe of like, oh, I'm just gonna go race, but like this is kind of like you get a little bit of that, but then you also are like, shit, like now you can actually be like, all right, well, was I that close to Nick, or was I that close to Colty, or whatever it is, you know? And a lot of these people that are even like locals that are racing like that, if you were doing a BME light or even that, it would be like, well, I used to get the KOM here, and then and then these guys showed up, and you're like, ah, shit, you know?
Well, I think there's a place for that, right? Like there's a place for the party enduro races.
Totally.
Absolutely. Like we need those, like those I love going to myself and doing and that, but then there's also needs to be a level of, dare I call it professional racing, right? If we're going to elevate the sport and if we're going to give these riders, whether they're advanced boys, girls, whether they're semi-pros, whether they're pros, if we're going to give them a spot to where they'll ever be able to make a living or make ends meet racing bicycles, there has to be a level of professionalism out there, whether it's from the marketing, whether it's from the course tape, whether it's the timing. Like timing is the number 2 thing behind safety for me. Like it is the number 1 thing outside of that I look at and I'm like, if the timing was a success, a lot of other stuff can slip, because that's what we have to have. We have to have continuity in that. We have to have the brands, the sponsors, the riders knowing, trusting every single thing we do with timing and stuff like that.
But I think because of that and what you guys are doing is has to be the reason why I'm still newer to the enduro scene over here, but like you guys have full teams that are just fully dedicated to only racing BME and being enduro teams, like in America. EWS has some of that, but nowhere in America there's actually full enduro teams that are just straight.
And it's growing, right? And that's the beauty of it. Like, I forget what the press says, the media says, like, man, enduro is growing. Like, and that's what we've been having conversations with the brands and stuff like that. They want to put more resources into it because, again, like I say time and time again, the majority of bikes that are sold to the public fall into the enduro category. They're 120 to 170 mil travel bikes. Let's say even 130, 170. They all fall into that category. So those are the majority of bikes. Now you start talking about component companies and who's selling bars, grips, suspension, whatever it is, like it all falls into that gap. So the majority of bikes, mountain bikes that are being sold, fall into that category. There are obviously a lot of XC bikes that get sold and there's a lot of DH bikes that get sold, but the vast majority, when people go out for a ride with their buddies, they're doing an enduro ride, whether they know it or not. And that's what's cool. And bringing that to a level, again, we need the party scene races. Absolutely. That gets them in, that gets the palate wet. Right. And they're like, this is cool, but now I want to go see how I can do against Colty. I can go see against the personalities of our industry, like Porsche and Bella, these larger than life people.
In America has never had personalities of enduro.
No, because it was just go race, get your awards and go home kind of thing. Totally. And now huge hats off to you and what you're building. That's what we're trying to build, is these personalities, right? Give it its own life, give it so that something, and even I was talking to my dad and I've been putting on races for 20 plus years. He hasn't been to one of my events in 10 years or something like that I put on. And he came out to Arizona and he goes, it was so cool. This is I won't mention his name, but my dad, an older guy, and he's watching the media and he's learning the personalities of Colty, of Nick, of Bella, Porsche. The list goes, Carolyn, the list goes on. And he's like, it was so cool because I looked across in the pits and I could see them and I kind of knew who they were. I felt like I knew who they were, but he didn't know who they were. And so like that's exactly what we're building towards. And my dad doesn't ride bikes. I don't want to say he doesn't have interest in it. He does like bikes. He's done it when he was much younger, but he's not out riding. He doesn't ever ride. He doesn't even own a bike right now. But for him to be able to associate, oh man, that's so-and-so. I saw him on that podcast, or I saw him on the reel, or I saw him on whatever. Like we're doing it. And we're waking up the industry. And
it's not just a one-off thing. It's like we're deciding a national champion by a series of at different locations and different terrain, right? East Coast to West Coast, center, rocky, dusty, whatever it is, like we're deciding it right through that. And it's not like we're just picking and choosing who's winning. Like these guys and women are having to go and battle each weekend, and decide
and the
who's
mechanicals.
The best.
Yes. And it's like, we go from Brian Head, which is good luck finding dirt at Brian Head, to Tamarack, which is all dirt.
I actually kind of liked it this year. Like,
you got to go on record saying that, because you've been Mr. Pessimist about Brian Head.
I know. I'm not. I ride dirt, So just so people know, like me and Rob went and did a tour of Tamarack before, the papers were signed. And I was like, do it. I was like, this is dirt. This is a dirt park. I'm in. I love dirt.
They have to move rocks around. Like, let's put it that way.
Rocks in,
Like,
for sections. So like Brian Head, as you can understand, is the opposite of that to me. But this year I rode some stuff there and I was like, holy shit, like I'm having a good time. Like,
and they've been doing a lot of work up there too. But that's what's so cool, because you go from Windrock, and that's the whole point behind all of this, behind having Arkansas this year and Windrock and going all the way to Tamarack. Like, man, there are no two places even remotely alike. And so when we crown a champion, it is a champion, a national champion. Like, it's legitimately, these guys have worked their tails off. They kept their bikes together. They've kept themselves together. Like, it's insane what they've done. And it was been interesting this season to watch different riders in different positions, like what races they chose to go to inside and outside of BME. And making that selection of like, hey, I'm going to go to national champs, or I'm not going to go to national champs. Like, they know what's on the line across the board. So it's been cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, it is like how now that there's personalities of it and you can actually follow the series and not go and race them, which sounds kind of wild, and just kind of look at what's going on and fall in love with it, if that kind of makes sense, right? Like,
well, look at our viewership. Our viewership is absolutely, I mean, I don't even know that I can quantify it. It's through the roof. And that tells me that people are at home watching, and they're wanting to learn, and they want to see how everybody did.
Dude, well, it's exciting. I mean,
yes,
it is interesting. All right. So like, I'll be from my side as a media person, and what I know in broadcasting is broadcasting enduro is really hard. And like, it's going to be something that's a very technically challenged thing, but I don't think enduro has been treated properly, at least on other sides of media in America. And that's kind of a little bit of what we're doing here. One piece of the multiple puzzle that we're putting together here, but like, it's amazing. Like the personalities from Porsche to Bella, all the way over to like Nick, Colty, the men's and then, dipping into the semi-pro and advanced boys, like all of them have this interesting personality that people have never seen. And
it was just a name on a result sheet is all it was before. And I think it's so promising that there's these other outlets. And I mean, I'll call out other media sources. Like, we're having to create our own because they aren't picking it up. And it's a shame to me but like media outlets aren't.
I think because it's never been treated this way. Right?
100%. It's not a fault of anybody.
Way, and that's why they pick it up when they do have, whatever it is, but it's picking that up now. Right.
Absolutely. And I think it's the pre-races, the post-races. I think it's the interviews. It's get them, because it's fun to watch, being an outsider looking in and watching different people's personalities turn. I mean, Colty is just such a bubbly, like wide
had
open,
no followers last year, and no one really knew who he was. And now look at the kid. I love Colty and his stuff. And he's got a personality.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about. I mean, we even had that call, and we had 30 some pros on the phone that we were like, hey guys, we want to see your personalities. If you're going to go fishing on Monday afternoon or Saturday night, like, we want to know that. Get that out. Don't be ashamed of it. Like, I don't care if you're going go-kart racing. Like, that's what we all relate to, right? Like, I mean, it's super cool. I'm just glad to see that it's really taken on a life of its own, and people are appreciating it. Like, and even within the racers, like, it's been fun to watch different people get different personalities out of different people. So it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting season as well with especially in the women's class, which our champion is here on the line. I'm going to add her in. All right, let me click this. Sweet. We got to play her intro video once she gets here though.
Yeah, she's got to watch this. I'm pretty jazzed for the intro video.
And Portia, what's going on? Nice.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I figured it out. Good. How are you guys?
We're good. I mean, congratulations on the championship.
Thank you. Thanks.
We have a little echo. You want to? Oh, looks like you have. You want to try to rejoin and hit your echo cancellation when you come in?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay. 1 second.
Bam.
Bye.
So yeah, like Porsche's class was pretty crazy if you think about it.
Man.
With the a few newcomers and just like the
Yeah.
shakeup in that, and
Yeah.
the women's class kind of provided some great battling going on there, right?
Well, and the new point structure was awesome.
Yeah.
That kept it exciting all year, and that was it. Needed a revamp, and to be honest, I wasn't entirely sure if that would do it. And I'm beyond ecstatic with that point structure. It worked out really good.
Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, like, I mean, obviously I kind of want to wait for Porsche to kind of ask some of these things, but like, you had, here we go. Here she comes in. Let's see if this works.
Option.
Don't have the option? No way.
I can see it here, but I don't see it on my sign in.
Oh no.
Mine's on the screen like right now. Like I could toggle it. Maybe it's.
Well, once we're recording, you can't
this
toggle
can't
it.
be changed. Yeah.
What is your mic set to? External built-in, and then your headphones.
Yeah, external microphone.
We can see who the techie in the group is.
Yeah. Well, what can I say?
Don't worry, Porsche. He has to talk me through it every time too.
I can try it without headphones. I don't know if that makes a difference. But...
if you don't have the echo, what are you coming in on? Are you on Fire? Are you on Chrome or are you on the app?
Yeah, on Chrome. But yeah, on Chrome.
You want to just try on your phone real quick?
Yeah, but last time we tried my phone, remember I had to like go into the apps and all that stuff. So
oh
like,
yeah,
I'll be proactive this time. And
okay, well we'll try to be a little quiet on this. All right, well let me just play your video then. This was going to be a pre-roll for the pre-show that never got to happen. So let's click this off for you and we'll all watch it together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gotta love Arizona.
Go, Porsche, go!
Yeah, so gnarly.
That section was gnarly.
Yeah.
The last thing you would think is Arizona has such a gnarly bike park, right?
That was bad! Come on now!
Awesome.
Well, not the way you probably wanted to see the video. We're going to be uploading it later, but yeah, I mean, I guess maybe another better way to say it is you are the champion. I'm sure you were. I know the point. We talked at Brian Head, and you were kind of the points were getting there a little tight right there, right? Like, talk about it.
I mean, I think I said this to you at Brian Head. I was like, God, this year feels like I get so close or I do so well, and then like something will happen and I just kind of throw it away. And that happened at Tennessee where like I felt so good riding during practice and then just had the mechanical and that was it, like immediately. And it was kind of, you know, it was frustrating and stuff, but I knew my speed was there. So it was like, all right, let's regroup and go into the next one. And then at Brian Head, like kind of similar thing, but not really, I guess, but just crashed in the 6th stage. And I had made up all this time and then lost all of it and ended up losing by 0.66 seconds. And I was like, why do I keep doing this to myself? You know, I could just stop crashing and then have a much easier time.
Hey, but Brian Head this year went better than Brian Head last year for you.
That's
so
true.
that's super cool.
That's very true. Yeah, I will take crashing and losing by 0.66 to having whatever I had last year, whether it was food poisoning or altitude sickness. I don't know what it was, but it was terrible.
It wasn't
so,
good.
Yeah, no, it was not.
So your class has to be one of the craziest classes going on right now, right? Like you had obviously a woman to show up on a downhill bike and win one of win one of the rounds. And then you have all these newcomers, you know, like Chloe Bear, you got you know, team switching for Bella.
Yep.
And you didn't have the past champion in it. So talk about that a little bit. Like, where were you kind of at in the mindset of like, holy shit, like a downhill bike just won, even Windrock is gnarly, but like she kind of came in and then just all the difference is, you know?
Yeah. So Rachel Peugeot, who was on the downhill bike, is always like a threat and stuff. And so I feel like Windrock is the only bike park or the only place that we had gone this year where that was feasible to actually race on a downhill bike. And she had those transfers down though. Like, I mean, she'd get off and she'd sprint on her downhill bike up the hill for however long she could, and then she'd walk the rest of the way. And I mean, she was right there. Like there was, so hats off to her. But I do think that Windrock is a particularly
it's gnarly.
Yeah. It's a different place. It's super fun. But that is a place where a downhill bike is welcome.
So would you have ran a downhill bike in your mind now seeing that result?
I mean, I don't think so, just because I've never actually ridden a downhill bike.
What?
So no, I haven't. So yeah, my biggest bikes are only Enduros or
okay.
You know, yeah, 170, 180 travel bikes. So I guess I'd have to get used to that first, and then maybe I'd decide.
You think about it. Okay.
I'd give it a second thought after seeing what she did. But that wasn't the first time that Rachel had waxed me at Windrock on a bike when I was on an Enduro. So it wasn't as surprising for me as maybe somebody else. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of different stuff happening this year. There's a lot of girls out for either injury or going to different races. Stephanie McDaniel, she's out for ACL surgery, which was a bummer. Leah Westerman wasn't there. Like you said, Bella was on a different team, so working through all of that stuff on her end, like figuring out the new program and all that. So for me, it was like consistent. I knew my program, I knew my bikes, I knew everything. So it was less tinkering with. I didn't have any injury. It wasn't, you know, it was like just another routine year. I did have a different coach, so that was like a little bit kind of like, we'll see how this goes, and it's been really good. So
championship
about that.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
so I'm excited to go into like another year with him and try that out. But going into the season, it was like, well, I hope this works.
Well, let's like chat about that for a brief minute, if you don't mind. Like, how do you feel like last year over this year with having a different coach? I mean, I was speaking to one of the riders yesterday in the semi-pro field, and he's like, I think that was his biggest. It was his first year racing semi-pro. Is that now he realizes he needs to not just go out and ride his bike, he needs to get fit, right? And he needs to go to the gym and stuff like that. But like, talk about that correlation. Like, do you feel stronger? Is it on bike? Is it in the gym? Like, where are you seeing the benefits?
For sure. So I have done that. So last year I was kind of doing my own thing. So self-coaching, so to speak, using a program that I had done in the past. And this year I switched to PerformX. So Todd Schumlick's training plan, and it is heavily gym oriented, which I really like. I love being in the gym. I love lifting weights and all that. And it works out really well because of winter here in the snow. I get to do other things as opposed to just being on a bike. So from that perspective, it's really nice. Let's see, I had a train of thought here and then I totally just lost it. But basically just, I enjoy the gym aspect, but because I came into riding a little bit later than, I'm just going to use men because there's a lot of other women who also came into, at least in my age group, who came into it a lot later. I was in my 20s when I found mountain biking.
Yeah.
So I feel like I missed out on a lot of that just developmental playing around in front of the street type of skill set that you see a lot of guys have.
Yeah.
And it's because they're just on their bike 24/7. They get really comfortable with it. And so for me, I have to incorporate a lot of that kind of stuff as well. It's just fundamentals, basics, getting back to the roots of it. So the fitness aspect of it, I enjoy the training part of racing. That's not an issue for me. It's the like getting motivated to just not go ride, but to actually like break down skills and work on that kind of stuff. And so I've done that with Johan Borelli in the beginning of the year for the last 2 years. And that's been really helpful. He's able to take some of my deficiencies and look at those, and we break it down and start nitpicking.
And you get to ride Whistler or Squamish.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how
it's
bad
not a
could
bad
it
way
be?
to, yeah, exactly.
So is that like, that's kind of an interesting discussion there, especially you bringing the men into the picture. Like, do you see that being as the gap more or less between the men and the women? Because the women are fit. Like you guys are extremely fit. Like I kind of agree with you, I guess is what I'm saying, that maybe it's a skill standpoint or something. And I'm not, please don't think I'm talking down on anybody, but I think you're right. Like, I mean, I rode bikes since I was a little tyke, and I don't think girls always follow that same pipeline of riding BMX with their dad kind of thing, you know, or whatever. But I think closing that gap, like, is that where you see that'll happen, like between the women's field and the men's field? Because you guys, like I said, you guys are fit. You can throw a bike around, and power weight ratio is there for you guys too.
Skill set. Okay, I think we're back. I think I lost you guys there for a second.
No worries.
But I think I heard everything. But I do think skill set for sure. But I also think that just guys being a little bit more testosterone driven helps a lot. And then they're just stronger in general. Like, I mean, I'm strong, and I don't want to throw Keller under the bus here or nothing, but
wow.
Do it.
Let it rip.
we
Let
got
it
in
rip.
the gym together, and it's just, if he were to, he's not like a gym guy. His whole thing is he likes to just go and ride. And so, I mean, he's a super talented rider and stuff, but I can definitely, you know, overhead press a little bit more and a little bit better than he can, just because I enjoy doing that, and I've spent time doing that. But if he were to put in the effort or like the interest into doing that, he'd surpass me, no problem. And so it's like, I don't know. I think that there's definitely the biological differences, but then also the time, just the time that a lot of guys, not all of them and not all girls, but a lot of the time that guys have spent just being on two wheels, working on balance, or, you know, working on jumping and all the other stuff that goes along with riding. Exposure, I guess, would be the good word for it.
Awesome.
Hey, so like at which was it, Sunrise or Angel Fire, where you kind of had the issue, and the points obviously were pretty rough on you? Yeah, it was which one was, but you still got back up to second or third, right? Or what was it in the back section? Was that Angel Fire? And you had like
crashed on stage 3. Like, I did really good on stage 2, and then I got too excited and I just really overcooked it into the first corner.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
I think that's what I'm talking about. And you I mean, you obviously fought against, or you got back to a great position, but like when you're in a series and you go through that type of stuff, like, talk about what your mindset. I mean, you definitely seem like you were bummed for sure. Like, but you obviously you got the championship now. But at that moment, how did you pull yourself out of that to just and grind away? You know, is there people that helped you, or what was that all about?
Mindset for sure is tricky. I've been working a lot on like just letting things go. I can hold on to stuff, and I'm like my own worst enemy. I can really beat myself down. So just working on like kind of letting that go. Like, if it is that race and that stage that you're talking about, I didn't lose too much time on it, but it was a really good reminder that I need to like just keep it even keel, not like get super excited that you had a good time on the last stage and then like overcook it into level
out the highs and the lows. So you're just which kind of sucks in some points, because it's like you want to be this, oh, I'm celebrating major thing, but it's like, all right, the next
Yeah.
day I got to keep going, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one. I mean, and that's the same thing with Brian had too, right? Like when I crashed, I was like, oh crap. And then I had, I got up and it was like probably one of the worst spots I could have done it because I had to run up this little hill after I got back on. And I was like, okay. But, I tried to put it in the back seat and finish out and not do it again, which would have been even worse. So, but yeah, I mean, Bella had a great ride and good 7th stage to keep the win. So I just need to be more consistent.
And so you obviously popped off the first round win, which probably the best one to win if you're going to go for the money, right?
Right. Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
But then, you go through Windrock and you have the situation there and stuff like that. Was that like oh shit, like how did you handle that, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, that was my first mechanical in a long time that had really taken me out of contention for podium at all. Like I hadn't been off the podium since I think like 2018 or something at that point. And so it was just a little, like for an enduro at least, in the US, because I have definitely not been on the international podium. But yeah, it was like, crap. That really sucks. Because after I crashed, I was like ready to keep going. And what had happened was, so basically there was like this off-camber rock slab, and I slid on it because it was slick, and I tucked the handlebars, and my body weight pushed the front brake lever side into the dirt, and it split my rear brake like a wishbone and just broke it completely. I mean, which is total freak accident. Like, how does that happen? And this is actually kind of an interesting story. So I get up and I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going because I'm not hurt. So I go to reach for my rear brake and obviously it's not there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I start to try and ride. And if you've ever tried to ride Windrock in the wet with just your front brake, it does not go at all. So like then
worst nightmare.
Yes. And this was like one of the longest stages too. Yeah. So I was like, and it happened probably a third of the way into the stage. So I had a long ways to run. Anyways, I made it down to the bottom and then we fixed it and I got on with the rest of the weekend. But what was kind of interesting is that where that handlebar hit was like in my groin area. And a week later, I was like sitting there and I look at my leg and there's this huge lump on my thigh where the injury was. And I mean, I had all this bruising and I've had hematomas before and I was like, no big deal. And so I like mark it up with a pen just to keep the area contained so I can see where it is. And the next day it had gotten bigger and I was like, that's not good. So my husband was like, you need to go get that checked out. And I was like, no, it's probably just, it's probably just fluid. Like, it's not a big deal. There was a lot of swelling there. It's probably fine. He's like, no, you're going to the hospital. It's like, okay. So I go and there's like all these people doubled over in pain. And the triage nurse takes me back and she goes, well, what's your pain level? I'm like, it's like a 2. I shouldn't be here. My husband made me come. And so they take me back and the PA who like refers and kind of sends us off to our respected areas, looks at it and she goes, oh, that's a lot more serious than I was thinking it was. And she's like, we're going to send you off for a CT. And I was like, why? What are you thinking it is? She's like, well, if this happened a week ago, there's a chance that it could be a dissected femoral artery. And I was like, well, that's not good. So take me back, the ER doctor, like I tell him, yeah, there's a lump on my leg. And he looks and same response. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to go get you back.
We got to take the leg.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it ended up, it was just a hematoma, but they were like, for the next, until it goes away, you can't do anything because if it gets bigger, it could put pressure on your femoral artery or your femoral nerve, and then you'll have some big problems. And I was like, all right, no problem.
I thought you were going to tell us it was the rest of the brake lever. It was just
No,
stuck in
no,
there.
no, no.
And they got it out, you know?
No.
Wow.
So it's a
Yeah.
good thing there was a break between Windrock and Arizona then, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I couldn't like squat and I couldn't do any deadlifts or anything. It was just in the
And
right
you kept it on the
area.
hush hush. I didn't see any posts about this.
Yeah, I don't know.
You weren't like Bella with her side hip thing, you know? Like,
Well, I did post a picture of the bruise, but
Okay.
the lump was just, I don't know, a little weird.
well, it
Not-
worked out. So
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
we have someone on the chat on YouTube is asking, what is your favorite hype song to get you going?
Oh man, I've got a couple actually. The Rasputin song I'm really into.
don't know.
By
I
Boney
think I
M.
know which one you're talking about.
It's like an old 70s or 80s song. I really like for a long time there was a song by Rammstein that I really liked.
No way.
Yeah, so that it really does. There's a big variety of songs.
So
There
we'll just get your selection for the opening ceremony
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
You can just ride out with that, whatever song
Yeah.
that is. Okay. All right.
But
Noted.
I'd say those two have been like the more popular ones.
The more popular ones.
Yeah.
What are we talking for next year? What do we new
Same.
team, same team,
Same. Yeah, same for me.
same.
Yep.
Wow. You know, I mean,
What
don't change if you want, you know, the championship. Why?
Come on,
you know?
Team Mom. Tell us about the rest of the team. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure about that. I'm the only one that had a 2-year contract.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
So,
that.
yep.
So, for people that don't know, you were also team mom for the rest of the kids.
Manager
on the
mom.
specialized team, manager mom.
And let's
Putting
just take a minute.
the
Hats
children,
off
you
for
know?
that one, because that had to have been a handful, and it had to be a riot at exactly the same time, because them boys had to have been like full tilt all the time.
Oh yeah, they were fun though. It is.
Oh,
it's a good vibe. But yeah, it's nice because I don't know. I enjoy cooking, and it kind of like being on the road for so long. And I think I've told you this, Austin, but being on the road for so long, you have to like take little things that make you feel like you're at home, or just kind of bring you some of that like home comfort or whatever, and just being able to like cook good food. And
So you
eat
brought
good.
the kids. No.
Yeah. But just being able to cook is like nice, and for the most part they're pretty nice if I mess up the rice and
Yeah, because what are they going to
burn
do?
it a little bit.
They don't know how to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that
But yeah,
that-
it was
I mean,
fun.
did that? I'm guessing obviously you've made it into a positive, but did that hinder you any bit in the racing? You know, like you had all this type of you had more responsibility than just a racer, if that makes sense.
No, not it. I don't think it hindered me at all. I feel like it was a positive, honestly. Just being able to pick their brains on lines and following them through certain things, or just
If they were in the
hanging out.
same class, you would have made for sure they got a little food poisoning, though. If they're getting a little close, you know, we're going to slow
Yeah.
them down a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah, don't you be messing with my championship,
Yeah.
honey.
But you guys did quite a bit of riding together too, didn't you? Like as a team, which is
Yeah.
pretty unique. I mean, it's super cool. You guys had a great environment under your tent
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was on the road for the entire 9 weeks. So from sunrise until like Tamarack-ish.
Yeah.
So, and then they were, for the most part, on the road for that same amount of time. They went home after, let's see. When did
Was
they
it
go home?
Windrock they went for a little bit?
Yeah, we all went home after Windrock, but after sunrise started, they went home after, I think it was Angel Fire for a little bit, like a week or two.
I think Colty was like the only one that stayed, and then everyone went to Whistler, right, or something like that.
Well,
or no?
Colton had to go home so he could pack out of his house.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Dylan and I just stayed out. We went up to Montana and hung out with some friends of ours up there, which we typically do every summer. And it's fun to ride at Big Sky and go check out some of that stuff. But
Hey, so where were you? I'm guessing because you did national champs, and then you probably flew directly to Boise, or whatever.
Yeah, we flew to Bozeman and then drove from Bozeman.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you at when you got the news, and what was your feelings on it?
Oh, I was in Tamarack.
Okay.
And so we had driven out. We flew back Sunday from Nationals. We had to go to Bozeman because my dog was there. So got her, loaded up, drove out, and then Monday we arrived, and then Tuesday was when the ultimate call was made. And the morning it was, smoke wasn't too bad, but right around the time that Rob had to make the call, it got pretty crappy. Like, it was not something I would have wanted
to race in for 4 days or ride in for 4 days. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's easy to be like, oh, we could ride in that. And then, couple
then your lungs
weeks,
are burning.
Months or days. Yeah, exactly. Down the road, you're like, oh man, that screwed me up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's one of those things that, like, physiologically, like, the lungs don't really heal themselves, right? Like, so many of our organs do and stuff, but the lungs, it's cumulative. And for us, like, we were going to be in it for basically 8 days, setting up and stuff. And we're not reaching the max heart rates, doing setups and stuff, but 8 days accumulative of being out there. And it was crazy. Like, I'm looking at the numbers right now, actually live up there. And it's just been all over the map, but it just wasn't healthy. And it was crazy because Tuesday midday, I didn't know anybody was on site besides us. I hadn't seen anybody yet, but we had a meeting with Tamarack at noon, 12:30, something like that. And the air quality was good. Like, I would say it was good. Like, we would have gone racing. There was no issues.
Right.
And we had pretty lengthy meeting with Tamarack, and I was very frustrated internally from, like, the weather, the conditions weren't that bad. Right. And so it was like, man, I want this to either turn bluebird and be perfect, let's go racing, or it needs to go the other way so that we have a definitive answer. And it was creepy. And we talked about it later in the day. 15 minutes after I walked out of that meeting was when that huge plume flew right over the top of us and throwing ash and stuff. And it was like, holy smokes. Like, if this is the sign we've been looking for, like, I mean, that was definitive. It went to 330, I think, on the scale or something, AQI.
Yeah. No, and it was definitely bad.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I heard you guys talking about, later in the day, that you guys were in the condo, the windows were all closed, the air conditioning on, and it was still smoky. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think people really realized, and like Austin and I were talking about earlier, it wasn't just the smoke, it was the location of the fires. I mean, there were so many fires going on. And by the time we walked into the meeting, because they asked me in the meeting, they said, well, where are you at? Where's your stance? And they said theirs, I said mine. We came back into a meeting. I think it was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And there wasn't much to say. They said, where are you at? And I said, guys, look outside. Like, I mean, look at the AQI. Like, I don't, again, it's AQI, but it's proximity of fires. And
well, they had a evacuation notice for that area too.
They did. And it kept moving. It kept getting closer. And so then it was good. And I was it could have gone a bunch of different ways, but I'm very, I respect the decision that Tamarack made with us and supporting us and being a part of it. Not, resorts are in a different business than what we're in. Like, I look at it like I need to protect the safety and of our riders, and resorts are in it to make money. And Tamarack kind of put that aside, and they were like, hey, we respect that. We want to support this. And I not every resort would do that. So huge hats off to those guys and being supportive. And I appreciated that a lot.
Definitely.
So you were like, all right, cool. Secured the championship though.
Well, I mean, I was excited to race there for sure, because I'd never been. But
a little, little secure in that. You're like, yeah, I'll take it. It's the little things.
It was definitely I had the better end of that stick.
Yeah. Totally.
It's rough, and I think we talked to it because actually it was ironic, Austin. I don't think you even know this, but in the evening we went out and we saw Porsche, we saw Colty, we saw Keller and JP, and we started talking to them. And like, me as a fan of the sport and fan of watching racing, I was so bummed. Like, I wanted to watch the racing. I wanted to see it come down. Like, I know the racers, like, same thing. And I hear you alluding to that. Like, it's cool you won it, but you wanted to go racing. Like,
Yeah.
all of us wanted to do that. And I don't think the outside, they don't need to know, but they don't understand the turmoil that I went through to make that decision as well, with our whole team and everybody that supports us. Like, we want racing, man. We have champagne in the trailer. We want to go. Like, it was such a, it wasn't the way we wanted the season to end. I mean, you've earned it. You were where you needed to be. You came through all the different turmoil this year. And, enduro seasons are gnarly.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have 7-8 stage DH races essentially going on over 6 different weekends in different states, different climates, like
Right.
for everything that you have to overcome. This is one of those things, and you had yourself in the right position coming into the final round. And yeah, I mean, huge hats off to you for winning and putting it together the whole year. Cause there's a lot of challenges that come at us throughout the year, from rain to fires to everything else, not to mention bike body and all the other elements that are involved.
Totally.
Bye, Austin. But no, I think it was cool. I was pretty bummed. We want to watch some good racing, and in the men's field too. Like Colty, like it was a super tight battle between Colty and Aiden. Like, I was looking forward to watching that. The semi-pros were super tight. We had Jackson on here earlier, and it was like 15 points separated first and third.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of cool stuff going on. But did you get to ride Tamarack at all, or did you kind of push out of there? I know some people did, some people didn't.
No, we did. I had my loan pass, so I was able to use it one day and stuff. So got out there to at least go and ride. It's kind of neat. It's like it's a little bit like North Star is what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Without the like massive mile-long rock gardens that North Star has.
Yeah.
That's
still
awesome.
Really fun.
Nice.
We're looking forward to it for next year. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
did you get a refill, Austin?
Yeah, I got a refill. I had to get another. Switch it up to Mike's right now, What can I say? Well, thank you, Portia, for coming on, and thanks for digging in, for the championship. I know you said you were a little under the weather, right?
Yeah, it was like, I think I got the news that the race was canceled. My body was like, whew, and got sick. So,
all right.
Yeah, been holding on for however long, 3 months, and then it was like, all right, cool, we're gonna just relax now.
No, wow.
Yeah.
What's right now? What's the plan for the rest of the year then, I guess?
So I hope hopefully I'll feel better enough for this Friday. There's like a local downhill race, so I'll just go do that on my Enduro, and then so do that couple race series, and then gonna go over to Europe, and hopefully I qualified for World Champs. So
nice.
Okay.
Go and do that. But still waiting on the official word.
Okay.
When does that come out? Do you know?
August 23rd, I think, is when they make their decision, and then 27th is when they announce it. So
okay, 2 weeks coming up.
Yeah. So no soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the race is on September 14th. So,
okay.
Like 2 weeks notice.
Before we let you go,
yeah,
make for sure you do not close the browser window. Once you leave, keep the browser window open because it's going to be uploading.
Okay.
Number 2, who do you need to thank for this year and everything like that? Sponsors and everything.
I need to thank Specialized, TRP, Fox, 7IDP, X Brand Goggles, Fluid, HT, MRP, Maxima, Renthal, ODI, and White Label Jerseys.
And if you forgot anyone else, you're sorry.
Yes, and if I forgot anybody else, I am sorry. But I think I got it this time.
All right.
I think you got it. That was a good list.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was smooth. Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you guys, though. When are you going to release next year's schedule?
We still have some parks to ride.
Yeah. In all seriousness, hopefully extremely soon here. I did, the original goal was to get it in theory out by the Tamarack. I don't know if we would have quite hit that target yet for all the locations. We're working on some new ones, some ones that are going to be I think they're going to turn some heads and be awesome. People are
Cool.
going to be excited to see. But I will say for the end of the month, like is my for sure. Like I want to have it locked in by then, and these locations know about that as well too. So
Cool.
I'm actually hoping to get on my email after this and have a couple positive emails in my inbox there. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it'll be
Fingers
coming out
crossed.
soon. Yeah, it'll be good. So we're looking to shake it up a bit and change some venues and lock in some long-term ones and do some fun stuff like that. So it'll be a cool series.
Cool.
Yeah.
You'll be the first to know. Don't worry, Portia.
All right.
We're calling you past champ. Hey, what do you think of this?
All
The
right.
very first. We'll run the
Yeah,
approval
the very
past you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll send you the list. You just little check
Sounds
marks.
good. Yes, sounds good.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to hit this resume upload and
Okay.
don't close the browser or
I'll
close
just
your
leave.
computer. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See?
Congrats, Portia. See you.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, 2 championships down. You know, I feel like we're just at the
Putting it
awards.
to us.
We're the
She
awards
wants her
banquet.
schedule for next year. She wants to go again.
No, right.
She's got the number 1 on the jersey. She wants it again next year.
I gotta approve some of these places first. I gotta do some riding, which maybe we can like hint a
Here
little
we
bit,
go.
but we did hit a
Here
park on
we
the
go.
way home of
We did.
testing
We did.
for
It's cool.
not all things were lost. So we did go and try something new.
Yeah.
So like if you are the viewers,
on private.
listeners,
It's on private on my Strava. Nobody knows where
Is
we
it?
were.
You
except for
See,
both.
who,
I
who would
Strava'd it.
Strava that. You shouldn't have Strava that. Come
No
on.
way. No way. Except for the 300 people that saw our rigs in the parking lot. But besides that,
They didn't know. They didn't know.
they didn't know.
They didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't see us.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
But no, I
Too
think
soon.
I think that's a good possibility. We have a lot of really good possibilities for next year, so I'm excited. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to let out of the bag
I
quite yet,
know, we
but
can't.
it'll be good to return to a couple good venues.
For sure.
Windrock for sure, Arizona, Tamarack, like those ones. I mean, Tamarack, we have unfinished business there. Like we are pulling out the stops next year. Like it's going to be good. So
yeah, I didn't get to ride it. So yeah, that's the unfinished business.
well,
for
that's
sure.
a you issue. That's not a me
That's-
issue. You didn't come up. We were there.
Yeah, well, I didn't get the invite. What can I say?
I know. I know.
Should we kick off another one of these videos? Let's do the Windrock recap on our way to Nick. About to hop on here at in a little bit. Oh,
Sure.
And then I just got bashed by poor Wendy, who did ask that question. She was really upset that I didn't let people know that
Well,
it was Wendy who asked the question.
I mean, it's simple hosting 101. Like you've got to say who asked the question. I mean, I'm going to side with Wendy on this one, Austin. Like, come on, man. You're
Whatever.
better than this.
Dead
You're
to
better
me,
than
Wendy.
this.
Bye.
Oh,
Miami, Tennessee. Looks like Costa Rica out here.
A little bit.
Yeah,
It did kind of look like Costa Rica a little bit. I can see it.
hey, I'm going to duck out for a second. Give me
Take a break.
But
We got 5 minutes of this. Tickle still owes me some edited videos.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
I don't know. He says you have all the content.
Yeah, I got the content. Content that he needs to edit.
He'll do it. He's excited.
That's right. It's got more. Don't worry, folks. This is
the long version, huh?
Yeah, these are our long 5-minute versions. Kind of holding stuff together.
Did you get to ride them off a whole lot?
We were at practice day in the rain, and I'm gonna tell you, I seen Jesus a few times, and I was like, that's about all I can do.
That place, I was blown away. I love it. I'm so bummed. Like here again, you and I went out and did that big trip, probably 3-4 days out there, and couldn't ride at all. Barely even got to see the place. You know what I mean? So
when we go back, I'm taking a different bike. The bike that I had was not ready for that place.
why did you have?
Well, I had a large, and I needed something skinny to like get through stuff. I felt like fish out of water. That's me running right there. Almost getting murdered right there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. He was close. Dude, that section was so. That's actually the crash. That's the section that I crashed in. In practice, and that's when I was like, "Yep, I had it."
I'm gonna invest in some pads here. Take this old man body and go out with that place. I love Windrock.
You know who didn't ride this section? Whoa! Windy, the one who was mad at me for not talking about her. Yeah. She sent me a pretty nasty message right here. Yeah. So very disappointed in her that she didn't ride this section.
You know, she's building into it. She's building into it. That's what it is. I feel like this next year we'll put that section back so she can get redemption. That's right.
Nikki. Bam. There it was.
There it is. I'm excited to go back.
Yeah.
I actually am.
Should we play a little Angel Fire recap too? Give the people.
When's Nick joining us? When are you getting Nick on here?
Nick here, he's a little delayed.
Oh,
so
come on, Nick.
I don't know what to say, you know?
These guys. Let's call up Dill. He'll get on right now. Send him in.
Gosh, you guys are
Tap him in.
I'm not even referring to the beauty in your talent at destroying a toilet or plumbing.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh, I have this, which I'm pretty bummed that we didn't get to play it, but I'll be posting it on our Instagram for the Kara video. Kara Lynn's pre-show video. Maybe I clean it up and throw it up here in a second, but Kara Lynn's video. Timmy makes not an appearance with his face, but with his voice multiple times in it.
He's always got, I mean, he can though. He's always good for B-roll. Like, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. Timmy, hopefully Timmy's watching right now. Maybe I'll just send it to him right now.
That was epic, dude.
All right, so let's hear it from you then. What was your favorite stop of the year and why?
I mean, I'm partial to Sunrise just being an Arizona boy.
Yeah.
I would have gave Tamarack it if I could have got ride it.
Tamarack's good. I bummed we didn't get to see the brand new stuff ourselves. They got a lot of cool stuff in store there. The tracks are they're definitely unique. Sunrise is kind of that wide open, no break, everything. Tamarack, you're on them.
Well, I really just love. I did love this at Fire the Backcountry. It was a lot like Sunrise. And personally, yeah, Sunrise was just, man, that backcountry just got better. I don't know how to explain it, right? Like last year I feel like you couldn't fully, like that's how it is here. Like you can't fully see it all, right?
It got rode in, you know.
Yeah. It was sick. And then maybe just because I knew where it was going to go, it's just, yeah, that helped. Yeah, sunrise. I'm going to get the sunrise. But then I also like the food, you know, eating there, and just a little bit of like the whole setup there is pretty rad, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Band and everything, like it was cool.
Yeah. No, one thing I was a little bummed though, we didn't get the Indian dance this year.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
I know that
they work on their own schedule. You know, to be honest, like it was orchestrated wonderfully by Sunrise, and it was scheduled to happen. But that's kind of the uniqueness too, and I think that's what makes it special, right? Is that they're not a hired gun. They show up when the timing's right for them too. So I think it's super rad.
Looks like we just had Timmy from Canada just logged in to start watching us. All he can hear is the background music, but I don't believe him for a minute. I know he can hear us talk.
Come on, Timmy.
Yeah,
we got to get him on here. That's energy
I
training.
know. We should send him on right now. Send him the link, you know, get him on.
Send him the link.
Send him the link.
We got some cool stuff going. Timmy's a good guy, good man of the industry.
That is right.
There's a few people that are fighting hard for Enduro, and he's one of them.
Congratulations, Will.
Sure. I think I'm gonna get him on for a podcast. Talk to him,
Yeah. He's his own podcast. He doesn't even know that. Well, Wendy said, just so you know, Wendy had to sign off. She's at the beach with the kids, so she'll finish watching later. So be careful. Be careful what you ask
I'm
for.
not scared to say anything. Wendy, one of our
We know
star
that.
employees,
We know that. She is a
Watching-
star employee.
she is a star employee for sure. Trooper.
We have a lot of those.
She's a little dangerous though. You don't want her to drive. She gets in accidents,
I drive.
which aren't her fault, but
I drive. They're not her fault.
don't back it up for her. Trying to give her shit right now, you know. All right.
Hey, she's on my crew. I got her back.
We're gonna hit you guys with a sunrise recap now. We're just knocking them all out right now.
We're doing all the caps.
And all the caps.
All the caps. Man, is there a lunch scheduled into this thing? I'm getting hungry here.
I know I'm hungry. That's why I'm hungry.
Need to add more calories in water.
Should try Mike's Hard. Yeah. And don't worry, people. We will be uploading these videos so you can watch them, like the proper stuff. This section was so gnarly at sunrise.
It was, and it got gnarlier.
Dude, yeah. The way that Aiden and Jonathan uncapped this line right here, and then the same right here. This was our semi-pro winner. They turned pro after we gave him enough shit. Right?
Yeah,
He was
good.
ready though. Let's be real.
He was ready.
Max
How cool is that? That are
ripping.
they're doing it for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, good for them. Good on them.
Dude, but it was gnarly.
It is.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And then he had a little bit of a rougher time at what is it, an Angel Fire that he moved out to pro?
Yeah. It's the mechanicals, I believe, right?
I think so. Yeah, but Max, that was cool though. It was cool to see that.
I like that they take the initiative, you know.
He was going, dude. Well, this
Dirty dog.
what
He's probably thick on in there for sure. Single
pretty
digits.
close, right?
Get it, bud.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there though.
It's going to be a good one when it comes out. So I'm excited about that.
Sure. 2025. Yeah. And this one's on the 20. Oh, it did save that.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. 2025 schedule. This one's on there.
It's
Sunrise.
going to be big.
Yeah.
Sunrise is a good one. It's cool. Brian's been putting in a bunch of new work down there too lately, so they even have more new stuff for us.
The crowd is getting better, and the rights are getting better. This
People
section
are realizing we're not racing a cactus anymore.
I don't know, because when you think Arizona, you don't think this right here.
Dude, it's a total loner, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's a pow day on a snowboard. Like, it's just so cool. Yeah, this thing.
So
That's your buddy,
yeah.
Phoenix. Yeah, that's a jump.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, we got a little bit more. We got about 5 minutes until our boy Nick shows up, our 2024 Pro Men's champion. Ooh, yeah.
My God.
There's Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy.
Our dog. We got to talk him into doing a race.
Absolutely.
Such a gnarly save. Dude, it's just, where's the cactus at? It's not there.
It's not here. Hey, we got to talk about this after the call because there's some top secret information. But no installing cactus in Sunrise. We don't need them. I don't want
work for him this weekend.
Maybe one.
You love it. You like Valley Kid, but
Event out there, 36
no,
minutes
we
of racing
need to
plus
go visit this one location that we're talking about, and I have a trip around it that might work out really well for us.
Okay.
resort and cruise
should,
ice
Hey, look, there's you right there.
Do that. What did I do? I was sending an email.
You
Waiting
were
for-
sending an email.
That's
Sending an
I am
email
now.
that needed to be talked about on the live stream. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So now that people know our business, we're just looking at other resorts, checking some stuff out. Maybe we're extending the series. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're doing stuff.
We've got a lot of really cool potential coming through for the enduro world in North America. So I think there's a lot of cool opportunities, and I just want to see it grow, to be honest. So we'll see what we can kind of string together and make happen and go from there.
Yeah. Well, look, we're just riding bikes, okay? I'm just here to ride a bike.
Bikes are good. We like
Yeah.
bikes.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna have to bring 2 bikes for the trips. One for the work bike, and then one to ride the stuff. The good
Well, yeah,
stuff.
we can't keep having you get kicked off chairlifts because you have the wrong bike with you. I mean,
Well.
let's just talk about that.
Yeah, we went to another park to check some stuff out, and I got kicked off for taking an e-bike up, which was kind of hilarious. They employed a 56-pound woman at the top to pick up the bike that comes off the lift, and they said that it was hurting her back from lifting it off, which is I find a little bit hilarious because I pick up downhill bikes that are about as heavy or heavier than the e-bike. So I was a little bit miffed on that, but I was like, okay, respect your rules. And
Hey, it's all about the rules, man.
yeah, and I just went back to the motorhome and watched some more TV. But yeah, but besides that, I was bummed because I literally was just my second lap too, and I was like, yeah, just getting ready on a borrowed helmet. What else did I borrow? I borrowed a helmet. I had
Shoes.
mixed matching gloves. Yep, I was running.
You were a
flats,
mess.
Just my work boots.
You were a
I was a
mess.
mess. Yeah, just
You
yeah.
were a mess.
Had to
I don't-
walk a section. I was like, pack it up, go home.
I can't even believe we let you ride with us. Like, you were just that big of a mess.
Every day of my life. Every day of my life. What can I say? But yeah, so our next guest coming up is your 2024 BME Big Mountain Enduro TRP, presented by TRP, national champion of the pro men's field. Can we just talk about Nick a little bit here?
Please.
It's just,
He has a history. He has a history with BME.
of riding a Fazari.
Riding
now
a
an
Fazari,
Ari.
but riding the Ari. But yeah, I mean, what a cool transition. The guy coming over from downhill and doing enduro and been racing BME and kind of cutting his teeth. And man, I think it's safe to say he dominated this year.
Yeah, pretty much. But then again, I mean, look, you went to the first round and I was like, oh shit, is our boy about to have some issues here? Because
I think we were all a little concerned at that moment in time, and to be perfectly honest.
He wasn't even on the podium.
No.
You're not on the podium, and then you come out swinging, though. I mean,
yeah. And I think he had a lot in store for that day too, and the nature of the way this year has gone with day 2 there at Arkansas. It was unfortunate it went down the way that it did ultimately, but yeah, I mean,
crazy.
He likes the bigger parks, and he was focused at Windrock. Like he had the blinders on. He wasn't talking to anybody, being super social, and understandably so. He wanted the series. So good on him for making it happen the rest of the year.
Whatever it took to get there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. With a huge lead. I mean, a pretty respectable lead by the end of the year. So it was
and
it was
so
cool
I mean,
to see.
Would you call this his first year? I guess we'll have to ask him when he gets on, but was this his first year of running his own team as well? Is that?
Yeah.
For
okay. Sure.
I was just confirming on that, but yeah, we'll confirm when he gets on. But yeah, like,
that's exactly it. So I mean, that's a big and again, people I don't think give that enough credit. I mean, he had a 15-point lead. I was just looking it up going into Tamarack, but don't give it the credit and the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. And I know Nick and I had talked a couple times about it, and there is a lot of work in tracking down the product, the money, the funding needed to support. And then you've also got to order canopies. You got to order everything. And then with Fezari dropping the Fez and going with Ari this year, I know they had to wait to order product and make sure that the branding was all spot on with their title. And yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces. So huge hats off to him managing all that and team momming it up for Ari and handling it this year.
Yeah. Team momming it up.
Hey, we had Portia on. She was doing it. And
yeah, she was team momming, but is he team daddying? You know, I don't know.
I don't know if he was cooking meals. I haven't got that into the team's inner workings there.
I guess
they have a cool team too. I mean, they have a good energy that they bring. Everybody does really. But it's cool to see that the big factory teams are likable and they get along with everybody else. It's just good camaraderie in the pits, which we really enjoy.
It's kind of cool to see purely just teams for racing this series
for Enduro. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree completely. Like it's in what was a really rough year for Enduro overall. I mean, budgets were getting slashed. Look what happened to EWS. I mean, all the teams that got cut were on the Enduro side, unfortunately. Obviously there was some DH teams, but if they had both programs, the Enduros were getting cut. And then here in the US, we had strictly Enduro only teams, which was super cool. So,
and these are kids and adults that are just fully committing whatever it takes to get to that next level and race all of them, which is, is pretty rad. Like to see that, you know, that the sport has kind of got to that level, right? You know, obviously on some of the other sides of getting more people in which Youth Enduro does a great job of that. You know, I don't think we've touched enough on Youth Enduro and what it's doing for the sport of Enduro, right?
Every single Youth Enduro round was up. We have had our biggest round every single year this year.
When every other series or race of Enduro was down, which 100%. Is crazy.
Like it's in some of the numbers were, I think I'm trying to remember what it was off the top of my head, but 39% up at some of these rounds. Like the Richfield round for Youth Enduro, I think was almost 40% up from year prior, which is just insane. And these kids are talented, man. I've been saying it for years and years and years. And it's so cool that we have like a true feeder program all the way from 10 to 12s that are just getting into this kind of thing all the way up to the pros. Like, and we're watching it now. We've seen it. They've gone through the ranks, the years, the age groups in Youth Enduro. They're going advanced boys. They're in the semi-pros now. And now the semi-pros are starting to go up all through the Youth Enduro program. So it's super cool that it's taken on a life of its own, and it's backfilling the Enduro sport that we need so bad. Like, if they left it up to my age group, at some point I'm going to age out. So it's cool to bring in some new fresh blood. And these kids they're not only fast, but they're respectful. They're super fun to be around. Portia's talked about that at the races. She loves the BME rounds that have youth enduro because it just brings a bigger energy to the events. And the kids, the parents, everybody's just amazing. Like in all sincerity, like we love the youth enduro. It's cool.
And then it feeds right into if these kids want to become more, BME offers that, right? That's the whole,
and we're
that's
seeing
the
it
whole system, right? Like, which has always been missing from enduro. How do you start them, and then how do you keep them, and they don't leave off to downhill or maybe back to XC or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and we're seeing it on both the male and female side. Like some of our girls have been coming up and they're excited to come back and be racing full blown BMEs. And that's where like the BME add-on has been great with the youth enduro, because youth enduro is a 1-day event. And then they'll do the BME add-on Sundays. And a lot of the response I hear out of the kids is just simply, they want to see if they can do it. They want to see if they can check that box. And then the next year you'll see them doing it. And we've seen it now for a couple of years in the BME that these kids are doing it. Now they're doing full blown BMEs. We have carryover categories from youth, the advanced, boys and girls, 13, 14 boys. Those 3 categories transfer into the BME. Like it's cool. Like we've done some work this last off season with the age groups and kind of moving around. And I think Jackson alluded to it earlier that I think the changes have been well received. Ultimately, I think there was a little bit of ruffling of feathers. I mean, people were used to U21 or whatever it was, but there was too many age groups right there together. It wasn't worthwhile. And so now the semi-pro is giving a good outlet, and the semi-pros are going, man, I can run with the big dogs. And this next year is going to be good, 25, but I think 26 is where we're going to really see this new generation of fresh blood really stepping up. I think it's going to be awesome.
Nick is here. Let me click him in. Not to cut you off. Look at this guy.
How's it going, guys?
What's up, Nick?
Team Ari hopping on here.
Is my mic all good? It's not echoing?
No, it's not echoing. I think we're good. I hear a dog, though. The pup's like ready to go.
We got Burke in the background.
It's my guard dog.
Yeah, it's your guard dog. Well, dude, congratulations on 2024 TRP Big Mountain Enduro Championship here in the Pro Men's.
Yeah, thank you. I'm stoked. Obviously, it would have been good to like battle it out at that last race, but I think getting 5 rounds in this year was sweet, and it was like a proper battle every race. So, yeah, it feels good. Yeah.
Before we go any deeper, let's click off Nick's little. This was going to be your pre-show video that we never got to show, but now it's just going to be our post-show video of it, stuff. Bam.
Cool.
Ooh, we're changing out that number plate next year.
I know.
Number 2. You gonna run it on the jersey?
Let's go!
Sick.
Oh, you got Carson on the YouTube page. He's your number 1 fan, I guess.
Damn.
I remember hearing you say that, Austin.
Dude, that corner was gnarly. It was so smooth how you did it. Everyone else would make it maybe look good, but yours was so fast through it. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was a sweet video. Good job on that video. That was sweet.
Yeah, just AI editing it. Yeah.
He's all right.
What can I say?
Don't get in his head. Come on, Nick.
Hey, stop it. Well, dude, look, you're champion. You got it. Everyone else can go fuck themselves. Your semi-pros guys are talking shit that they want to race you now. They're we had him on earlier. He thinks he might have something for this class. So, how does it feel? How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I think it feels really good because the last few years I like especially last year, like it came down to like the last race and like came down to the last stage and like just didn't perform. And then the year before, like I think I was second or third. So it felt good this year, just like to be leading. I mean, the first race didn't go that well, but after a couple rounds, like I had a solid lead and just maintained it. So yeah, it feels good after just falling short the last few years, just to kind of get it and know exactly like what I need to do next year. It's like I kind of just have like a solid plan and just like repeat what I did last off season and just carry it into next year. So yeah, I'm stoked.
Well, on the new team, the new brand's got to be pumped.
Seriously, right?
And you were running it. Like we were just talking before you jumped on, like how much work goes into running the team. Like huge hats off to you, man. Congrats, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know at the races, like I'm the one there running it, but like in the grand scheme of things, like there's so many people at RE who are like helping out with this program. And especially once the races start, they kind of take everything off of my plate and just let me focus on racing. So that's a huge help. I think if I had to do everything on my own, it'd be a different story. So having their help and their support and everything, and just having more people helping run the team is like, yeah, it's an awesome program, and helps make my life a little easier when I'm at the races and I can just lock in on racing. So yeah, that's cool too. Just like when we made this team last year, I was like, one of us will get a championship. So stoked that I pulled through.
Attaboy.
Is that the big selling point? Like, hey, we're getting a championship, so you got to just a little extra.
Yeah, I mean that was like one of our promises. So stoked to keep it.
Nice. Dude. All right. So look, let's just talk about round one. What the fuck? And I was like, all right, well, I don't know if he's coming back from this one. What was your feeling?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was like with the weather coming in, we only got to run the first day, and I really do think enduro, like day 2 is where you win the race, and I've come from behind and won the race quite a bit on the second day, and so that was frustrating, just like it was out of all of our controls and stuff. So yeah, it was like bittersweet because I had some really good stages and I was like sitting top 3 the first day, and then like third or fourth stage, I just lost a ton of time, and then the race, the weather came in and we couldn't run the second day. So going into Winter Rock, I was pretty pissed off and like just like told myself like I had to win I was like, I have to win Winter Rock to be able to like stay in the points for the whole year, and that worked out. And then I just kept it rolling all year. So
I literally was just talking to that. I'm like, Nick came into Windrock and man, you had the blinders on, like, and you were focused, like, and it was cool to see. And honestly, like on my side, like I love watching that. I like watching different people turn it on at different times, realizing that it's like, hey, it's go time. Like, and that was cool at round 2 to realize, I mean, you were at a deficit there, like we'll be real. And you needed some help, and you laid it down. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I came into that race, like I lost like 9 points at the first round. Like I was 9 behind, and that was like, I mean, that's a huge gap. So I was like, I kind of told myself, I was like, I literally have to win every race the rest of the year. And so to come out like 15 points up at the end of the year was like pretty sweet, just to go like, I mean, that's 24 points I was able to make back in 4 rounds pretty much. So it's, it feels good. But yeah, that race was, I don't know. I like Nebo and racing in Arkansas, but I definitely left there in a different mindset than I did the year before. So yeah.
But we had those conversations. Like we're just fanboys of the sport. Like we were leaving and we're like, oh man, this is a huge hit. When there's only 25 points available and you're down 9, like, I mean, you've got your work cut out for you and you're going to need some help from the other side. But I mean, dude, you like, let's be real, from that point on, you turned it on. Like you were on fire.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Coming into this year, I felt really good. And I mean, obviously you don't think you can win like 4 races in a row. I mean, you do, but you'd have to be realistic. But like at Nebo, I was like, I don't know. I felt fit and strong, and I just spent like 2 months out east. So it wasn't like weird conditions for me. Like I was used to that kind of slippery clay we had there. So yeah, to be off that much after like just 4 stages, I was definitely like scratching my head a bit. But sometimes you need those races, because like I literally every race since then I thought about that race, and I was like, because I started off so slow there, I was like, every single stage 1 and 2 I need to be like on it and set the tone for the rest of the year. And like I think I won the next 4 rounds, I won stage 1 and 2 at every race. So I was able to like think about Nebo and like use it to my advantage and just like be able to set the tone from stage 1 each race. So that was like a huge thing for me. Like looking back at Nebo was like, yeah, we only got to run half the race, but like you should still be leading after 4 stages, which I wasn't. So I just had to have to start stronger, which I was able to do. So.
Well, then that makes sense. I was wondering why you were winning every Saturday. Every Saturday, you were like, there could be a hurricane could hit, tornado, earthquake, and cancel. I'm fucking winning. Okay, none of this shit again.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking like, oh, we're gonna have another just like day 2 cancellation. It was more just like, I can't let anybody get ahead of me from the start, which was like. My thought process was like, I don't want to work from behind ever again. Like, because I was already climbing back in points. So I was like, every race, I just want to start off in the lead and just maintain it. Because, like I said, day 2 is like super gnarly and everyone's sending it and everyone's tired. So anything can happen. So if you can go into day 2 with a little lead, it's going to make your life easier.
Hey, so Sunrise. Hold on. Sunrise. A-B split section. So much drama around that. Did you do the B?
I took the faster one.
This guy not even going to tell us right now.
He didn't tell us there, and he's not going to tell us now.
Man.
He took the faster one. Come on, Nick.
Obviously, you won the stage, right? You took the faster, but man. Yeah, we were all wondering and I mean, I could tell you what section I was in, and I didn't see it come through, so I don't want to blow you out, but, you know.
I took the B line straight up, and I hadn't practiced it, so.
What? You just hit it blind.
I don't know if the guys were trying to mess with me, but Mitch and Cody, I guess they followed each other into it, and they said A was faster by 3 seconds, but then Shane, Leslie, and Lucas Cowan did the same thing, and they said B was faster by 3 seconds. So I got like 2 people were saying A was faster, 2 people were saying B were faster, and I was just like, I thought to myself, like, A was really gnarly, and, like, if you sent that rock garden, you could probably make up time, but I wasn't willing to send a little 20-second section super hard because it's just such a long race. So I was like, I think the B will be more consistent.
Yeah.
And I forgot whose helmet cam I watched, like, at the top of the hill, but I watched someone's helmet cam down the B line, and I was like, okay, a couple tight corners, and I just sent it blind. So, yeah, it worked out. I won that stage, but then afterwards, I was like, well, what if A was faster? And I just left a few seconds. But.
I don't know. I think after that, I mean, because like Jonathan hit that section, like there wasn't a fucking rock on that trail. Okay. Yeah.
But I think that's back to like, that's the sending it, right? Like that was like for the 20, because I went and looked at it. I put those chicanes in there for the B to slow it down. And I thought I had it slowed down enough, but apparently not, because I need to put some more in there. I am still convinced that A line is faster, but I guess it depends on how you're riding that rock section through there.
Because I mean, Jonathan hit it really fast, and that was what I was.
But
saying.
I don't know if Jonathan hit it that fast on race day.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
You never know. But that was my point. Was like I wasn't willing to go that fast to make up a second there, because I was like, there's still like 3.5 minutes after that split where like if you mess up or you crash or you just tire yourself out in the rock garden, you're going to lose more time in the bottom half, which was super flat and pumpy and pedally. So I figured I'd just save myself for that, which.
Well, how long was that stage? 5 minutes? 4?
It was big.
No, it was over 6.
It was between 6 and 7. Yeah.
Shit.
For the fastest guys down through there. Like that. And it had like even getting into that section, because I'd heard about that section when I went and rode it for the very first time. And I thought it was up near the top, and I'm like, dude, where is this section at? And so it's like very pumpy to get there, very pedally to get into there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, here it is, found it. And then
by the time you get there, you're out of breath.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, you're starting at like 11.5. Like you're starting high up there. So by the time you get there, you're smoked. So.
Yeah, for sure.
That was my thought. Was like, even if B's slower, I'll lose a couple seconds versus like, I could crash, go over the bars, break a bike, break my body or whatever. So
it's a safer bet for sure.
Yeah, which I practiced the A line twice, but I don't know. I had a gut feeling about the B. So
there you go.
Wow. Yeah, there was a lot of going on around on that.
So that was the controversy of the pits that whole week. Like, dude, it was gnarly. I was convinced. Like, I'll be the first one to admit I was running around. Nope, a all day long, and then people started proving me wrong, I guess. So, congrats, Nick. Hats off.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. I remember going to bed the night before, and I had not made my mind up, and then I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But
I don't think anyone had their mind up at that moment. If I'm being honest. Yeah. Like I know all the team special guys were like, we're going B, and then they all went A. So yeah, I don't know.
That might have been why I went B, is because I remember hearing them all say they were going B.
So what the trick was, and then it ended up being worse for them. That
might have played part in it. But, yeah.
I do remember our media team was pretty unhappy that
I was
both
very
options
unhappy.
Were available, and
very
we
unhappy.
Can't close one.
Yeah, because A was sick to film. Okay, I'm here for the good shit. Okay, I'm here for the good shit.
There was like mossy, like dry moss on all the rocks, and I remember like even Carson and Ben were like, "Oh, this is like the sickest section to film." And then I went B, and
we all were.
Yeah,
you fucked us. Okay, thanks, Nick. Thanks, bud. Yeah. Hey, so at what point did you in the series was like, yeah, I can do this? Because obviously after you won that one, you were still down a pretty good deficit of points, but you had to have a moment where it was like,
I think it was Sunrise, because I think after Sunrise I had a 1 point lead on Colton.
Yeah.
So because he lost
he had those 2 flats or 3, I think.
He had
a rough run there.
9 points on me after Nebo, but then I got 5 points on the Windrock and 5 at Sunrise. So I was ahead by 1. So yeah, after that I was like, I just won 2 in a row. I was like, I can win 2 more. So it was still obviously tight, 1 point separating us. And then Aiden too, it was like anything can happen, but I love Angel Fire. So going into that one, I was really confident. And then Brian Head, I wasn't super confident because Colton had won 2 years in a row there. So I was like, he'll probably get that one. So I was like, if I can just get through those, in close to the lead or tied, I was like, I'm very familiar with Tamarack. So I was like, that'll be a good battle. But then, won Angel Fire and Brian Head. And I was like,
but Brian Head was you didn't win it until the last stage somehow, right? Like it was crazy.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to win that one halfway through, because I had a 5 or 6 second lead going into Sunday, I believe, but Aiden was on a roll and I was just pretty dead on day 2. I didn't have any legs and I was just stuck at a 90%, and Aiden was getting 1 or 2 seconds on me every single stage. And then that's when we came into the last one completely tied. We were within 3/4 of a second, and Aiden had raced the downhill the day before on that stage, on stage 7, and then so I was like, he has more laps on it than me, and he's already raced it. I'm like, he's probably gonna get this. But then I was like, you know what? There's not too much pedaling on that one. It's just all about letting off the brakes, and I just tried to
not dying in the waterfall.
Yeah, I just tried to get into my old downhill mindset of checkers or wreckers, and I don't know. It was funny because halfway down I was like, if someone beats this run, they deserve it, because I was like, I can't go any faster.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Aiden said the same thing, I guess. He was at the bottom and he told Snow, if Nick or Colton gets that, they deserve it, because I can't go faster. And I went faster by quite a bit, so I was stoked to hear that.
Dude, you guys came through so fast, gnarly. Yeah, we were all like, fuck. Yeah.
That section's gnarly. Every year I feel like it gets gnarlier. So
yeah.
We've
been working on it.
Yeah, they work on it, and then we're getting better on our bikes, and the bikes are getting better. Then we show up every year, and I'm like, it got gnarlier.
Yeah.
But that's the fun in it.
Which round, best one you like the most?
It's tough because I like the longer ones for sure. The longer, steeper ones that don't have a lot of pedaling. So the 6-7 minute ones at Windrock were insane, so fun, and then the long ones at Sunrise were sweet. They were really physical, but those were fun. And then Angel Fire too, it's such an iconic spot. They had a World Cup there almost 20 years ago, and they have a huge history with racing. So that one's proper. So yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I just really like Windrock. It's so gnarly there, and it's so slippery and it's long, and I mean, this year with it being in May, it was super hot and humid, and it was just like a good battle, I felt. So, but that is tough because like I really like Sunrise and Angel Fire, so I can't really choose one to be honest. But yeah, I don't like the ones that are super pedally. So I would
give it to Windrock then.
A couple stages from Windrock, a couple stages from Sunrise, and a couple from Angel Fire, and make like one round from those three. It would be sick.
Nice. We're
going to take the best 3 stages out of every venue, and that'll be the new title this next year, the 2025. Yeah. We're going to make something unique out of it.
And just do it by time, though.
Like, take all the time. We'll take all the 6-minute plus stages and add them up. Who's the best of the long ones?
But it's funny. I was saying that to Austin too before you got on. Like, I really like Windrock. Like, we went out there, and I believe it was February to go ride it, and we didn't get to because it was literally just a deluge the entire time we were there. But I liked Windrock more than I even expected to. So I can see what you're saying. Like, that place it's special for sure. And the like full pull windmill, like 7-minute run, like shaking your arms out. Like it's insane what they have there for sure.
Yeah, that's a legit race. Like, I mean, obviously, like everybody talks about Europe being this like crazy place to race and ride. I think Windrock's like gnarlier, to be honest. Like the dirt there is so slippery when it rains, and the rocks and the trails are super off camber. I mean, they have a little bit of everything, but like they're so hard to ride once they do rain. So we got pretty lucky. Like by race days, it was damn near perfect conditions, but like that place is one of like the coolest places to ride. So yeah, Aaron, I mean, it's obviously like Sean Leader and Nico did a great job building it, and then Aaron now running it. It's like it's becoming a hot spot in America. So
yeah, and he's putting so much into that place. Yeah, it's so much into it.
Yeah.
So
we're going back.
Yeah, seriously, right? Well, he's happy about that. I won, so you know. He's like, yeah. Question to you: how does it work with having the young buck Snow on there on the team? You know, he has moments when, I mean, obviously he beat you at the first round and was swinging at the other rounds.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I ride with him like more than I ride with anyone else. Like he's my main training partner, so it's cool when he does well, because it's like, even at Nebo, like I personally, like that wasn't a good result for me. So, but then he did good. So I was like, all right, we did the right stuff this off season. So like, it's reassuring when like we're both doing good. Cause it's like, okay, like whatever we did last year or last winter worked. So like, we just need to replicate that again. So it's like, that's reassuring for sure. But yeah, it's cool riding with him. Like he's a unique kid. Like he's fun to be with, and
he's a riot.
He is. It's funny though when you're like with someone all summer, because you see like every side of them. So it was we give each other a hard time, like especially with Kaylee around. Like those two are like siblings. Like they dig at each other. It's so funny. So it was a good dynamic. Like we didn't get sick of each other this year, so it worked. We picked the right people. So.
Well, okay, so then who was faster during the weekday, practice and shit?
He's faster than I am on a weekday. Like
no way.
Yeah, like when we go ride, I'm like I follow him. In most races, I follow him in practice because he just has like I don't know if you call it like raw speed or just like no regard for like
he's young. He's young.
Safety.
We get it.
So like when we go ride, even at home, like trails we know, he's just going for it, and I'm like, I mean, it pushes me, but it's like, dude, it's the first lap. Like,
dude, chill.
So in practice, he gets me up to speed, and then like he's always taking crazy lines. He's pretty creative, so like I can kind of sit back, and then we're both running our GoPros all day. So like if he does some crazy line and I do the main line, we can compare at the end of the day which one's better. And then we spend a lot of time studying GoPros at the races because we're doing different lines. So by race days, like we know exactly what the best lines are. So it's cool having that dynamic. It's not like a weird competitive rivalry with teammates where we're like not wanting to help each other. So I think it's like we both know we'll benefit from each other, like helping and riding. So yeah, it's a good dynamic for sure. So
the band's staying together for next year with Team Ari, right?
Yeah, everything's gonna be pretty much the same. So
Nice.
hoping we get Justin back to do some e-bike stuff next year, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it should be good. So
Sweet. We adding anybody new to the team? We going to grow the team next year, or how's that looking?
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, man, it's still like beginning of August. We still have some time, but
Our season's over, but we're talking about next year.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, like the e-bike scene's growing, so there's opportunity there. I always like finding younger kids who just need a little bit of guidance and like help them grow and become better riders. And so
you walked right into that one. That was exactly where I was going to go with it next. So
yeah.
who do you see? Like, I mean, don't be afraid to call out names if you want to, but like, who's the next young talent that you're looking at? Do you see anybody that's really kind of setting the races on fire right now? Like, what are you looking for the future? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough because it's like you can race in like the junior category or the U21 category or whatever it may be. And it's like, you might have some competitive times with the pros, but until you line up with the pros and you're dropping behind pros and they're dropping behind you and you're talking to them all day, it's like way different racing. Cause like, I remember when I was racing downhill, I was a junior and like, I would compare times with pros and I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. And I went pro and it was like a lot harder to perform because you're just with the big dogs. So like, until you start racing pro, it's like, I mean, obviously there's like exceptions like Asa last year when he showed up and smoked us. Like that one, you're like, okay, he's for sure going to be like the next phenom. But like, it's hard to say until you start racing pro who's going to be fast because it's so different, your mindset. Because you go from like in juniors winning everything to like pro where you're like, you don't know what to expect. And then you have to kind of find yourself all over again. But I mean, the kids nowadays are insane. Like, in enduro and downhill, like watching all the kids come up and they're just able to like, I think through social media and stuff, they're able to like watch like the pros and just like from an earlier age, they're able to see what you can do. And then they go out and try it. So I think the young kids are just excelling way quicker than I guess my era when I'm not old, but like 10 years ago, like versus the kids now, it's like, it's insane. Cause I mean, when I was growing up, we had a handful of kids my age that were like, pushing it, but now it's like there's like 20 kids in America who are like absolutely sending it and like
ready to die.
Yeah, and just putting out impressive times. So
but you got to put it all together.
Yeah, you do. You got to put it all together, and then you gotta keep that like growth going because it's a plateau sport, so it's easy to like hit a plateau for a while. But if you can just like keep that progression curve going, I mean. You see how it's happening now with a lot of the young pros, like they're crushing it and taking over the sport. So,
well, we were just talking about how competitive the BME thing is now and the championship series is because you guys have teams now and you guys are basically dedicated to just racing your bike and doing it good. And I don't think America's seen enduro at that level. And I don't even know how long or ever, if that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I think right now with the amount of teams in the sport and the amount of riders each team has, it's like, it's almost a race on its own. Like, who's the best out of the teams? Like, I know like Snow and I are competitive with each other. And then like the Yeti guys and Specialized guys, like they want to beat their teammates. So then it's just like, you have these like inner races with like your teammates. So then I think it just grows because you're like, Sunday night, I want to go out to the team dinner and be the fastest dude on the table. And then so all the teams have those little battles and then it just elevates the sport because it's like you're getting the best out of everyone. So you don't want to be,
that's how it goes in pro. I mean, any other type of sport, I would say that is two wheels or competitive like that or four wheels. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're all on the same equipment, it's like there's no excuses. It's like whoever wins is the best man. So you want to
we get it. You were getting all the bonuses. That's why Snow was jump starting his car in the parking lot at Brian Head because his alternator wasn't working or whatever, we get it.
Bump starting it. He had to roll it down the hill at Brian Head.
Yeah.
The best part is that after Brian Head, he put a new alternator in. Then we went to Whistler for 2 weeks, national champs, and then he went to start it last week and it wouldn't start.
No.
So it again.
No.
And I was like,
terrible.
was like, you got to get this figured out.
Dude, how about his crash at Whistler? He looked so bad, but he was okay.
That rock slab.
Yeah, he was completely fine. I mean, he was sore, but no injuries. Like he raced the weekend after and did really good. So he got lucky for sure.
Yeah, he did, because that looked like it was bad.
Yeah, his helmet got, like, we're stoked to be in the 60s. They're really safe. We were just in half shells, and like he went straight into the rock, and like the helmet had like a huge dent in it, and it's definitely saved him, I think. So
Wow.
yeah, it was gnarly though. It was kind of dumb on our part. Like we were riding this trail blind, and like a couple of our buddies, they were like, get some, like it was Carson and Ben. They never get clips of them riding, so they were like asking me to get clips of them. So I'm like, sure, I'll get some clips. And then Snow's like, I'm dropping, and I'm like, all right. And then he like just pulls up going into this rock slab, and there was like this rut from water running down the rock for like, it was the first time I've seen like a rut in the rock, like from water. It's kind of insane, but he just landed right in it and then just folded. So
Yeah, he did.
And I didn't even warn him about it because it was like 40 feet down the rock slab. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm like, he'll see it and he'll hop over it, but he literally just gapped straight into it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a 6-inch like rut, but it was just enough to like throw him over the bars. But yeah, he was stoked because it went viral on Instagram. So
yeah, I did.
I was like, you just got to crash once a week and you're going to go viral every week.
That sounds like Snow too. That's like, that kid cracks me up.
Yeah.
Stoked. Well, that's cool. So no, you're saying no changes, maybe a change, maybe a semi-pro on the team, maybe an e-bike, another e-bike, something along those lines.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, it really depends on schedules and budgets and all that. But I'd say like 99% of the team's going to be the same. So there's like a small chance there could be little changes, but like most of the companies are stoked on the team and on board for next year already. And
Good.
So
That's cool. Yeah. We're going to see some more custom gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, you would have seen one over the weekend, but we're going to have to keep it for, I don't know, we got a couple more races this year. But yeah, we're definitely going to do some more custom kits next year. So.
Well, shit. Where were you guys at when the email hit?
We were in Boise.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just stopping in Boise, like food, gas, and then we were going to head up the hill. So.
And then
Yeah.
Rob just canned your dreams right there, or made your dreams.
I don't know.
Other,
He,
you know,
he already had it. And that comes back to saying like what you were talking about, day 1, day 2 stuff, like rolling into the final round with the points lead. That's got to feel good. You know what I mean? Give you a little bit of a safety net.
For sure. I mean, I did the math. I think if Aiden won the last race, I would have had to get 11th. And if Colton won, I needed to get 12th. So I was in a really good spot. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I could,
You felt good.
I could get an 11th or 12th pretty easily. So it was it was going to be a good race. I mean, I'm stoked either way, like win it earlier. If we had the race, it would have been nice to do another race, but yeah, I mean, you got to be in the points lead to win the overall. So I was in a good
For
spot.
I mean, look, that's what a championship series over multiple different stuff is about, and that's what it takes to win that. And you put yourself in the right position. There's can't be hated on for that, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think if it was under different circumstances, like maybe there was, Aiden and I were tied, or him and Colton were tied, and then like the race got canceled, and it came down to like, all right, Brian had results, who got the overall. But like the fact that it was like I had a massive lead on them, it was like there's no second guessing it. So I think Colton was probably a bit bummed because he was in third, and him and Aiden were a point separated.
Yeah,
so
1 point separate.
they could have had a good battle for second. And obviously Snow in fourth. Like who knows, he could have won and they could have had a bad race and he could have moved into second. So like,
yeah, he was only 10 off.
there was a couple other people who were a little more bummed out on it than I was.
Yeah.
Including you guys.
Yeah. Well, and that's like we were talking about it earlier, like being such fanboys of the sport itself. Like I think that was one of the big reasons it was a tough decision, but so kind of deflating, I guess, when we came home. Like we feel like we never got to put the icing on the cake, right? Like and we just want to watch the battles. Like the pro women's had a good battle, the semi-pros had a good battle going on, the advanced boys, you guys, like, I mean, there's a lot of cool battles that were really shaping up to be a rock star of a weekend. and for it to go out like that is just like yeah, I've been mentally like kind of struggling with it. Like it's actually a mild case of depression or something going on here, but
Yeah.
it's bummer because we like to watch racing, obviously.
Yeah, it's a tough feeling because it's like there's absolutely nothing could have done. Like wildfires are, Mother Nature is insane. It's super powerful, so it's like really nothing we could have done. But I know what you mean. Like it's kind of like takes the wind out of the sails a little bit because you're like, but then you got to look back and you're like, we had a great season. Like we had 5 rounds. That's a full season. Like the 6 would have been a bonus. So it's like,
yeah. And that was the thing is like our whole team driving home. I mean, we've run out of the last 11 rounds, Tamarack being one of them, we've had all of them go off. You know what I mean? So it was like, but for me, it's that personal, like, man, I just wanted to get that one more. I wanted to have 2 like flawless seasons, you know, from that sense. And it's weird to like go out to the trailer and all the prizes are still there. You know what I mean? The awards, the champagne is still wrapped up. It's like, now what? So maybe I'll ship you a bottle of champagne, but
Yeah, we'll do like a group. We'll do this with the top 5 in every class.
Everybody just, I love it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot planned that would have been rad to see go down.
And the last race is fun because it's like everyone gets to like, just kind of chill out after the race and enjoy the season and celebrate like a good year. So like last year at Big Sky was really fun, and so this year would have been sweet, just like hanging out with everyone and celebrating a good year.
The after party was ready for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So now I'll just look forward to next year.
Yeah.
It'll be good. We got some good stuff in store for 25. I can't wait. It's gonna be exciting.
We would tell you, but we'd have to kill you. So
sorry. What's the plan with releasing the schedule pretty soon, or are you guys still kind of buttoning these down?
Portia was asking the exact same thing. The original goal was honestly to do it with this show, you know, Friday at Tamarack kind of thing. And then unfortunately I got derailed dealing with cancellation stuff, insurance, and like trying to make sure all that, like I don't think people realize that there's more work that goes into a cancellation than it does just us having the event, you know? So it's kind of a bummer. It's derailed that a little bit, but honestly, I mean, I'd really like to have some super solid answers by the end of the week, but the plan is by the end of the month, have the calendar out. So the dates we're pretty settled on. As long as Crankworks and National Champs don't move their dates a whole lot, we'll be good there. Locations, we've got the 3 solid ones there. And potentially 2 new ones. So we'll kind of see where we end up. We might be taking it back to our roots a little bit for BME. So that'll be kind of cool. But like I said to Portia, like I'm really hoping to open my email here when we're done with this call and get some good news out of it. We've had some fantastic conversations with venues that people will be excited about, you know, and they've got great trails, great racing, kind of checks all those boxes. Like I'm listening as you're talking about all this, like what you like and see in the courses. And it's the same thing amongst a lot of the riders, but we're looking forward to going big next year. So having youth and DH and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be, we'll have some big busy rounds. Those are always the most fun in my opinion.
Yeah. The triple headers are sweet, having youth and DH. Like it's just cool environment because you have like different groups of people coming together in one place. So those are fun, but I'm stoked. Like looking forward to seeing what you guys have cooking up.
We're trying. We've been cooking for a while now. It's just getting confirmations and it just takes time, get through legal and all that kind of stuff. So, but we're really excited for 25 and put a fresh stamp on this thing. The even years, this is one of my weird scenarios here, but what the even years, so 20, 22, and 24 always have some sort of a curveball in them. It seems like for whatever reason, the odd years have been running pretty good. So we'll see if that stays the course next year, but we'll have some fun stuff in store.
Sweet. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. The even years have had weird things happen. So
I don't know why. Like, I mean, you know, 22 was a real rough year for BME with Big Sky and Bend, and 20 was kind of a rough year as well in there too. Like obviously COVID and that was when it was really whooping off. So we were hell bent on getting 24 and breaking that cycle, but we were so close.
Yeah, it's also 2018. We had some. I was just racing downhill then, and that's when they were the GRTs at the time, and we had 2 canceled because of wildfires. So
Yeah.
that's another even year.
Yeah. See, and that's what I'm saying. It's just a weird scenario. So if that's the case, we're pulling out the stops. We're having 10 rounds next year in 25.
Yeah, every even year we're having 2 rounds, and then every odd year we're having 10. Everyone's gonna be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. We'll go to some like desolate island where there can't be a fire or something like that in the middle of summer. But
That'd be awesome.
No, that's cool.
Cool, Nick. Well, congrats on the championship.
Thank you.
Damn good year. Great bike racing. Before you go, make for sure you do not quit the browser. Keep the window open.
I remember.
And and then I need you to rattle off the sponsors and thank the people that got you here for this championship.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks to Ari for just believing in the dream of starting this program, and GoPro and SRAM RockShox for stepping in, title sponsors, and then Pearl, Zumi, DT Swiss, Kenda, Renthal, Oakley, Monster Army, 6D, Crank Brothers. Like, everyone stepped in huge and helped create this thing. So stoked to see what we can do next year.
Cool, man. Hopefully see you soon. And yeah, that's all I got.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Congrats,
buddy.
Nick.
Later.
Bud.
Sweet.
See
Have
you
a
guys.
good one.
Cool. Where's the 2025 schedule?
Whew. It's coming up. I don't know. Did you create the graphics? Throw that thing up. Let's
it's
just
already
do
done.
this
It's
thing.
done. It's done. I got,
It's close. It's close.
It's close. Close
And
enough.
I do like that. I do like kind of leading the charge with getting the schedule out early. I think it's good for a lot of reasons, and it gives sponsors, teams, riders, like things to look forward to.
They can plan. We can plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be brutally honest, I'm intentionally not holding back. Like that's not how we operate here. But yeah, I'm just
we can
looking
share,
forward to getting it out.
Some of it of where
Sure.
It will be
The knowns.
The knowns. Well, Youth Enduro. Can we share that?
Yeah, let's do it. Like we're going in deep with
Youth
Enduro.
All the rounds will have Youth Enduro attached to them.
Yep.
And we have some more plans for the Youth Enduro. For all the kids. Yeah.
We got a lot cooking. Like the calendar, I don't think is going to be the biggest news that comes out of the BME camp this winter. I think some of these other projects that we've been working on behind the scenes are going to come to fruition. Bringing Youth Enduro to every round, bringing DH, like it's just what we do now. Like it's good. It brings great energy, brings tons of people, and the vendor village looks good. I mean, it's just good all the way around. And yeah, I'm pumped. It's hard, man, because I'm trying to get out of the rut of this. It wasn't the way we wanted to end this year, but I am so excited and looking forward to 25. There's going to be a lot of cool things, and it's an odd year. So, I mean, things are great. Like, we're looking good.
We wanted to have a 2.5 hour podcast live stream to crown champions. No, we did want that. What are you talking about?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
You're planning it that way. Yeah.
I packed the table and chairs up. They were in the rig. Like we never even actually, they did come out. They did touch Tamarack soil, but then they unfortunately went right back in. Yeah.
So for people to know, this
Tamarack.
is a table and chairs that I've been asking them that didn't show up at Nebo for our pre and post shows. Yeah. Too far. Yeah.
No, but it's a cool thing that Tamarack is looking forward to bringing it back for next year. And they've got a lot of cool stuff in store. It's going to be a wild round.
That's because they know I'm a fan. That's why
they know you're a fan. Yeah. They got the motorboats lined up for you.
And they were like, yo, I had the golf clubs in too. I'm fucking bummed right now.
Golf clubs.
I don't really play golf, but you know what I do? I drink, and those two somehow go hand in hand, golf and drinking. So yeah, I was just prepared on all fronts there. Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you're prepared.
My Walmart clubs, and I was ready to go. That's right. I'm prepared. 2025 coming for you. We're going to have a golf off championship or something right there.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll have to get on and do this. We'll do a big unveil for the 25 schedule and try to do it right. And not just sneak it out there quietly. Like we'll have some fun with it, and then we'll get registration going. And we've had some fun stuff there too. So we're getting her done.
Cool. All right, you guys. Thank you all for listening, watching, tuning in. We will upload this on the Insider MTB podcast, so you can get it Apple, you can get it on Spotify, and then this will be also archived on Big Mountain Enduro's YouTube page. So thank you all. 2024. Thanks to all the sponsors for the TRP Big Mountain Enduro, and we'll see you all next year. Later.
That's a wrap. Thanks, guys.